lovely touch from him though. Harry Kane, Lucas Moura, can you do something, please? Last chance, Matt Doherty! Oh, you shite! And there could be from the dead to the don't fuck it up now, Go and win it! Let's go for chance! Stephen Bergwijn! Stephen Bergwijn's through! Win it, Stephen! Come on! Yes! He's won it! He's won it! Oh my God! Oh my God! We did it! Welcome! It is Wednesday! It's the 2022 version of April the 6th! And we're back! After a 3-week absence, we're back at the Spurs Talk Show! What a weekend it's been, and what a week we have in front of us! How's everybody doing? We got an eclectic panel, a mix like you haven't heard since a DJ on the decks did it last weekend. It's incredible, the names that are joining us today. We got old timers, we got first timers, we got people from all over the world joining. But before we get into them, let me just start by telling you all where you are and where you shouldn't be. You are at the Spurs Talk Show. That's at Spurs Talk Show on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Remember, people, if you're looking for it, hashtag no spaces. Because if you put spaces in when you're searching for Spurs Talk Show, you should by now know what happens. You might not find me. You might not find other Spurs community content. You might find yourself over in San Antonio looking at basketball. And I'm sure that's enjoyable for them, but it's not for us. So if you're looking for me, it's Spurs Talk Show, all one word. And that's how you can never make any errors in the search for the Spurs Talk Show. I hope everyone's doing well. What have we got today? Well, let me start by saying welcome to everybody in the comments. We're going to get to you in a minute. But before we get to you, because we always save the best for last, but before we do that, we're going to bring the people into the studio one by one. And you know the way we have to do it. You have to do it through a formality, a formal process. And today I'm going to bring them in the order in which they joined in the background. Can anybody hear something? I think that there might be someone at the door. Who could it be? Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the Fingers. You know him as the man who spent the entirety of the winter in his old country looking after his friend as he nursed him back to full health. He's now back across the pond where he lives with his wife and his other friends. But we're back, bringing the two together. Bring him in. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. Levy out. It's Brian Daigle.
I love these introductions. I absolutely, the doorbell and the introductions are just the greatest thing. What's up, Sean, brother?
Oh, good, mate. I'm good. How are you? How's things? Things are
good, mate. Things are good. Things in Canada are good. The weather is starting to turn. I mean, last time I said that it was beautifully hot and it snowed the next day, but it actually looks like this time it's starting to turn. And when the weather turns here, it's always good. And football-wise, everything is fantastic. So that's all good.
We're going to talk about that shortly, mate. I'm just going to bring in some other people to join us for the conversation. Stay right there, Brian. Ladies and gentlemen, this man, he is making his debut on the show today. And I feel like because of what I know of him, I don't think he's the sort of person that would ring a doorbell. I think he's the sort of person that would knock politely. Ladies and gentlemen, fresh from his own channel, he has just stopped on his own stream to come over to say hello on my stream, making his debut all the way over from somewhere 7-8 hours ahead of us. It's probably the middle of the night. It's beyond bedtime. But let's give it up, ladies and gentlemen, for Mr. Spurs Suasion himself, Eugene. How are you, my friend?
Doing well, Sean. I'm from Malaysia.
Malaysia.
all
Malaysia.
The way, yeah,
I wasn't sure
all
where
the way
it
from.
was. I wasn't going to make any crazy bad guesses.
bad guesses, right? Thanks for having me on, Sean. My debut today I haven't been some time, right? It's a good time to be on.
We've been waiting patiently for you, buddy. It's all that timing, isn't it?
Good time. Yeah, it's all about timing.
Fantastic.
It's all about timing. Yeah.
Stay there, mate.
Good
I'm going to
timing.
bring some more people in. There's lots of people waiting at the door. It's a party, ladies and gentlemen. It's a party. Who is next? Oh, I've got to push the button. Where is it? Here. Ladies and gentlemen, making another debut on the channel. I met this man for the first time after Tottenham got thumped by Wolverhampton Wanderers 2-0. We went for a curry and Iggy got all the food. There seems to be extras coming over, but they all seem to be going down his end of the table. It was incredibly frustrating for a big guy like me to not get any of the leftovers. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for Mr. Tottenham away, or Mr. Tottenham away, Mr. also Tottenham away. I'm not sure who's the hierarchy priority on Tottenham away. Guys, it's Iggy. What's crack-a-lacking?
Top intros. I've been pissing myself laughing for like 10 minutes straight. Watching all you guys intro. That was it. Brilliant stuff. I loved your actual intro. That was awesome as well.
Yeah,
awesome.
appreciate that.
It was a pleasure to be on. Lovely to be on, man.
Good to see you, man. Stay there. There's a lot of people in the background. They just keep on coming. They keep on coming. Ladies and gentlemen, this guy's definitely going to be knocking down doors, but I'm going to have to give him the doorbell. I'm always getting tired of doing the doorbell thing now. Maybe I should just speed it up. I'll do it one more time just for this guy. Ladies and gentlemen, you might know him as any one of 74 different names around the community. He's been looking for work ever since Janine dumped him on EastEnders. Please give it up for the one, the only Barry, Sean, Nick, Michael, Tom. I don't know what else. And
Ranjit.
Welcome to the show, Barry. How are you, my friend?
I'm in tears. I'm literally in tears.
Anyone else in their head singing "Somebody at the door"?
I'm literally in tears here. Literally in tears. It's incredible.
And my cheeks are hurting.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I'm actually going to have to speed this up because we've only got a 2-hour slot before other channels start. I think a 3-hour slot, and we're already 10 minutes in, and I haven't even got through half the people that. So I'm going to stop. I'm going to imagine the doorbell's just broken now. It's been overly used. I'm just going to bring in people with a little bit shorter time span. The next on the list, ladies and gentlemen, you know him as Ireland's #1 Harry Kane fan. No, the world's #1 Harry Kane fan and Ireland's #1 Tottenham fan. Please pick it up for Champ, also known as Dave the Hotspur.
Hi, David.
Hope we're all keeping well.
Absolutely, brother.
How you doing, David?
What's happening?
Buzzing to be a part of the vibes. Top 4, boys. Come on.
Yeah, 100%. And I'll have to speed this game up again because I've got lots of other things. We've got lots of content to get through tonight. Next on the list, ladies and gentlemen, making his comeback. He hasn't been on the show for, I'm going to say, like 3 months, 2 months. It's been a while. It's been a long time. Ladies and gentlemen, you know him as the only man in the Tottenham community who has the audacious arrogance to put numbers at the end of his name. It's Cuba99. How are you?
Big up.
Hey, cool.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, good to be back, mate. Good to be back. Getting into the swing of it again, like yourself.
Yeah, same, mate. Same. Yeah, good, mate. Glad to have you, man. Thanks for stopping by. And guys, last but by no means, it's last at the moment. I know there's other people that said they're going to pop on as well halfway through. But straight out of, I'm not sure, I think it's Shelfside Spurs as well. I think. But he's also just come across from Eugene. Ladies and gentlemen, I know him only as what most people know him as, and that is Alan. So please give it up for Alan. Tottenham Tea and Toast. What's Tottenham Tea? Is that the name of the channel? You're Shelfside Spurs, aren't you?
We started a new show. We started a new show on Monday called
Tottenham
Tea and Toast.
On the Shelfside Spurs channel or on a different
Yeah.
And in brackets,
finally,
life.
Yeah, and finally, our lives have crossed Mr. Harris from one Harris to another. Alan Harris, David Harris.
No, it's good to be on the stream with you, man. It's good. Harris takeover.
How's life?
Right, guys. I think there's more people coming, but for now, we've got an eclectic mix. It's going to be amazing where this is going, and I'm lucky that I've set the game up the way it needs to be set up because otherwise, it would take forever to go through the Tottenham player ratings. What we're going to do today is. Oh, actually, before I even get there, how rude of me. There's 34 people watching, and I haven't even said hello to any of them yet. Let's just start by doing that, shall we? First of all, there's Cody. Doing his Chan. And he's done it once, he's done it twice, he's done it 3 times to Cody, 4 times to Cody, 5 times to Cody. It's dedication. He's worked out into copy and paste. Mate, appreciate you, Cody. You're more than welcome anytime you want to stop on. I'm sure, well, actually, I don't know how much space there is in these shows, but thank you for stopping by, Cody. You're always first. And it's a pleasure to see you. Ladies and gentlemen, Dermot was supposed to be on the show. Unfortunately, he's texted me saying he's feeling a little bit under the weather, tired. I hope you're okay, Dermo. But he did find the time to do an introduction. And we have to call it out the way it's got to be called out. Ladies and gentlemen, it's here. It's the time for the top show in town with the best catchphrase in YouTube. So only one thing to say. Let's get ready to rumble. Here is the one and only Sean. It's game day! Butler.
Sean, your neighbours must fucking love you.
What's that?
Your neighbours must absolutely love you.
No, my neighbours have put in 3 or 4 complaints to the council about noise. They literally have. I've had letters
some mention of being sectioned by any chance.
Fuck them. I hate them. Horrible people. Big up, Tottenham. Big up, Dermot. May I appreciate you for stopping by and giving me the intro. On your bike, Scott. Hello, Scotty. Good to see you, man. I was hoping to meet you on the game on Newcastle, but of course I didn't make it, bro. But I hope you're well, Scott. Alex Hilton's in the house saying steak. I never know what that's about, but it's his catchphrase, so we'll go with it. Good to see you, Alex. Hope you're okay, mate. Angel, Matos, Angel. Love the intro. Let's get this party started. We're trying, buddy. We're trying. Thanks for stopping by. Derek Hutchinson's in the house, guys. Good evening, Sean. Good evening, Derek. How are you, my friend? Paul's in the house. Evening, Sean. Good to see you back and feeling better. Mate, it's good to feel better. I've never had such a rough couple of weeks. As I said in the background, it's no comparison to other people that have had it far worse, but you can only comment on what you've experienced. And the last 3 weeks of my life were rubbish. So I can, if I had COVID and I had the Omicron version, then, if I got caught one of the previous versions, like what, say, Bobby had, I can only imagine what it would have done to me, just like him. My body's not cut out for it. So, King Hoddle, hi Sean. I hope you are over the dreaded lurgy and feeling better. Getting there, mate. Appreciate you stopping by, buddy. Bobby K's in the house. What the fuck? I ended up watching basketball. San Antonio Spurs. I told you, mate. No fucking hashtags. Come on, you should know better by now. Bobby K, big up Sean. Everyone in the chat. Angel Matos, Derek Hutchinson, Mark Cousins in the house. Good evening, lads. What's cracker lacking? What is cracker lacking, Mark? Good to see you, man. Derek saying big up Eugene, big up Iggy, Bob Spur TV. What a fucking beautiful panel. And Daigle.
He's so predictable. He's so predictable. To me, that's a piss off. So the man is so predictable. Love him to pieces, but predictability is definitely his nickname. I think he said he might be coming on making his debut as well on the show later. So you're more than welcome, Bob, whenever you get the itch, buddy. Jason Bell's in the house. Hi, Jason. I've always seen Cooper Moore as a 69 man.
You'll have to get me a few drinks first.
Nice. All right, almost done. Just getting through this and then we get into the game. Dylan's in the house saying, come on, you Spurs. What's cracking, Dylan? Good to see you, mate. Graham's in the house as well. Hello, Graham. Good to see you, my friend. Piss off, Sean. Fair enough. I haven't had a piss off before. I like that. I'm excited. I feel like I'm part of the team now. Brian Daigle, Bob Spur. Why can I hear myself in an echo? That's annoying.
For a minute there, looking at Daigle's picture, I thought you had an afro.
Yeah, that's a good picture.
Yeah, I think one thing you can definitely vouch that I haven't got is an afro, David, brother. That's definitely, that's one of my favourite pictures in my Canadian winter coat and everything. And my wife just walks around in a t-shirt.
Very nice.
I'd say the fur makes you look like Canadian Jesus.
I've been called worse, Coover. I've been called worse.
Not bad. I'll take that as well. Pete from the lane. Big up, everyone. Big up, Pete. Good to see you, mate. How you doing? Michael Bennett. A nice one, gents. Looking forward to this as always. Some great people on here with you, Sean. There are some great people, Michael. Appreciate you stopping by, mate. And I think that's everyone that's new. All right, guys. 38 people in the house. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button. If you have hit the subscribe button before, don't hit it again because I don't want the numbers to go down. I want them to go up. And we're up 788 as of today. So we're on the march towards 800. If you haven't done it, please do it. And also, what we do on this channel as of a recent thing is throughout the show, not just at the end of the show. I'm going to be grabbing everyone's channels links and shoving them in there because I always find that if you wait until the end of a 3-hour stream and then you go, okay, guys, we're winding it down now, and then you go around the houses, if you had 50 people watching, by the time you get through to the people who have joined, there's only 10 people left. So I'm going to be doing that throughout as we get going. Guys, it is great to see you all here. What we have to do today is bring back the spinning wheel of fortune. And I just got to make sure I've got everyone's names in the list. So we've got Sean, we've got Irish Hotspur, Adam William Cahill's not here yet. Bob Spur's not here yet.
Oh, can I be guest too?
No, you're going to be...
I want guest too.
Cuba 69.
Cuba 69, exactly. Cuba 69.
I've got Iggy. I've got Eugene, have I? Who else is in there? You, John. Hang on. And then also I need Nick, Barry, and I need...
I'm loving this level of professionalism again.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to work it as we go along.
Alan,
I've got everyone. I've got everyone. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I've got everyone now, I believe. All right. So what we're going to do, I need to get everyone... I was going to do the kind of the player ratings, right? Because I haven't done a player ratings for the Newcastle game. But I think it would be ridiculous to go around the houses and everyone do every different thing. So what I'm actually going to do is we're going to do a team player ratings. But I'm going to start with a player, and then we're going to find out who it is that's going to be given the overall summary. Tell us what you think about that player's performance. Give it a score out of 10, and then everybody else gets to vote. And if that person gets the number right, then we'll let him stay on. If everybody disagrees and says the person shouldn't have got a 7, should have got an 8, etc., then you get kicked out and never come again. That's that. We've got to be ruthless on this show. All right. I'm joking. That last part wouldn't happen. We're going to start with Stephen Bergwijn. All right. Stephen Bergwijn only got a little bit of time on the pitch. Who's going to be talking about Stephen Bergwijn? Let's have a look. It's Cuba 69.
Well, come on, scored easily. What more could he do? Give him an 8 for that.
You can go a bit more detail on that because I'm going to get up some of.
Not really. There wasn't a lot more else to do. What's that?
All right, you're right. Actually, that's a fucking shit one, isn't it? Getting Bergwijn. Let's do a different one. It's unfair. Hang on a second.
You nearly scored a brace as well.
Yeah, true.
Emerson Royale, I think that's just Emerson Royale. Cuba, I'm going to give you a little bit of help as well. I'm just waiting for it to upload, but I've got all of their stats in front of me, so we can go into if you need a little bit of help looking and comparing the stats.
I'm not with Stuart. I can do it without stats. That's not having to go at Will. It's just his thing, not mine.
Sounded like it to me, to be honest.
Well, all right. Well, it's not meant to be.
Crack on, go for it. Emerson Royale.
Emerson, I just think he's a bang average player. I mean, he did okay yesterday, not particularly great. He got not yesterday, but he got the goal, but I mean, even that was a scuffed thing off his studs, wasn't it? It wasn't exactly a sparkling finish, but he did get up there and he did cause a threat and he did get on the end of it at the end of the day. So he did okay. But the thing is, you compare him to Doherty playing out of position on the opposite flank, and he was a much lesser player. He's just not good going forward. I'm not convinced at all. Never will be. And it was just all round average, but he fitted into a good team performance. So I don't know, make that what he will. I'd give him 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10.
You're going to give a 5 out of 10. Wow. Okay. Anyone want to make the case to improve on Emerson Royale was he a 6 out of 10 or better? Anyone want to expand and give him any credit, or does everyone kind of feel the same?
Yeah, look, I'm going to give him a 7. To be fair, if you look back at the average positions of Newcastle during that game, they put 3 bodies down that right-hand side. They did identify it as a weakness in Tottenham's game. And to be fair, they didn't really get too much joy from it. And look, as far as the goal, I agree with Kuva, it was scrappy, but to be fair, he was being dragged out of you as well. And no, I'm going to give him I would like to give him a 7.
Yeah. I mean, that's. I guess it all depends. Like, I mean, it's relative, right? Like, unless you're going to give some of the other players 9s and 10s. Like I think for me, he was one of there's only 2 players on the pitch or 1 player on the pitch that was worse than him. And if you're going to give him a 7, I find it difficult to give other people a 7, which I probably would give at least 1 or 2 others a 7 to. Iggy, what are your thoughts, mate? Do you think Emerson?
Yeah, I was between, and I thought this at the time. I was between 6 and 7, as David says. But listen, with him, do you know what it is? It's like I saw his backside covered a lot of the times by Romero in that game, where he was in defensive duties. He did have a situation where Romero had to mop up or put out the fires. And covering him was one of the features. But I suppose when you play wing backs, that's the nature of being a wing back, is to bomb forward. The thing is, I don't mind the fact that he's not that, he's not brilliant at defending. If he was so good at attacking, then you're thinking he serves a purpose. But I still wasn't bowled over by him. I don't think he was the worst player on the pitch, and I think if a team's going to win 5-1, then he can't. Sorry, Kuva man, but he can't come away with a 5 if we're going on to win 5-1. So I'm torn between 7 and 6. So I'm going to go bang down the middle, and I'll give him the half point more, 6.5, because he scored the goal as well. You cannot, you have to say to him, he's scored, and to give him a 5, having won 5-1 and scoring on top of it, it's a little bit harsh.
And what a goal, right? What a goal.
Yeah.
Goal of the month contender. He just about hit it with his far right stud.
Listen, I've always been told, as long if the ball crosses the line, and if it hits your backside, your knee, or 30 yards out, if it crosses the line, mate, a goal's a goal.
A goal's a count. It does. Yeah, a goal's a goal. All right. No, I personally think that a 6.5. I think it's fair. I think it's reasonable. I don't, because of the amount of people we've got and the amount of time, I don't think there's any need for it. Unless anyone else has got a massive case to say, no, he was an 8 out of 10 or a 3 out of 10. Then if everyone thinks he's somewhere between 5, 6, 6.5, 7, then we can move on to the next one.
Yeah, Sean, okay? Sean, move on. But I'd just like to know what Cody Mack rated him in the comments.
Cody Mack said, respect Emerson, goal of the season.
But what was your score, Cody?
Yeah, what was your score, Cody?
More importantly, he's got the shirt with his name and number cover on it in a post, so he'll be.
If I was Cody, I'll be giving him a -20 because I had to buy an Emerson shirt.
All right, so the next one. Here, let me get rid of what we done. So we're getting rid of Bergwijn. We're getting rid of who was the next one? Who we just do? We just did Emerson at the top.
This is cutting edge, Sean. I'm really impressed.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah, I'll try my best to. I was going to get one of the actual proper ones and get Bugsy Malone, as Cooper said last time, to be the.
Give me
the female. Who we got? To be my Debbie McGee, yeah, my Bugsy McGee. She's down here somewhere. She hasn't quite got the dexterity of her paws to be able to handle the big wheel, but we're working with it. It's a work in progress. All right, so Kulusevski is going to be argued by Mr. Brian Daigle.
Kulusevski, I can't remember if I've given him an 8.5 or a 9, but I'm going to stick with an 8.5 because I know what I gave other people. Listen, this man is just he's immense, and one of the things that impressed me the most, which hasn't been mentioned really a lot in the first half. At one point, he was on the far touchline, holding the ball up, and he had 2 or 3 players around him, and rather than just hoofing it or getting rid of it within a blink of an eye, he'd got out of 2 or 3 of the tackles and just passed it back nicely to Romero. His hold-up play, we talk about his lack of pace, but his footballing brain makes up for it. He is just going from strength to strength. Another brilliant assist for Son's goal. He's involved in everything. Him going forward has allowed Kane, or having him with Son has allowed Kane to drop back further with with more faith and confidence that he can impact it and not just have to hit Son. He's sensational. He really was outstanding, and I think I gave him an 8.5.
Anyone want to improve on an 8.5? Anyone think he or go less? You know, looking at his stats here, he lost the ball 7 times. You know, out of the how many times did he touch the ball? 46 times. So what's that, like 1 in every 7 times he got the ball? It didn't work out, but he did put the assist in. I agree with Brian. I think his strength is phenomenal. Eugene, what do you think about Dejan?
Oh, Decky, I think his strength, his intelligence, right? The way that he finds space, right? When Emerson comes in, he goes out to the wide, he covers a lot of space, and the balls that he can pink around, and he's got a very good foot. Would it be a right foot? I mean, both feet maybe, right? That he's got,
his left foot is his main foot. And
Yeah,
I've always said on the Irish Hotspur, like I was so concerned about the fact that he might become predictable, like Sonny was last season when he always used to cut in and shoot with his right. And then I literally said it in the pre-match pump up to Dave and to Jack. I was like, I'm worried, man, that in a year's time, that he'll be predictable. And then on the very next game, or the game that afternoon, he shut me right up by deciding to take it down the line and cross it in with his right. And it was an inch perfect pass, wasn't it?
Yeah. And the intelligence that he has with the ball, right? When he got the pass, I think from Kane that started the Sonny's goal or something like that, he pushed the ball forward just enough to cover off that, just in case the players were offside. So I guess the intelligence is there. So that's what we've been lacking in the Spurs for quite some time, right? Instead of getting players to just run down the blind alley and all that. So 8.5, 8. This is a fair score for Decky.
Yeah. His game IQ is top notch. He's clever. Upper body strength is ridiculous. I like the fact the way he picks up the positions in between the lines, where he's not always specifically on the right. He comes in the hole as well. And he's got a really good understanding with Kane and Son, as if they're all speaking the same language. And that understanding has happened from the off. The only thing I would like to see more of, and this is not a criticism, just to be a little bit more threatening in front of goal, as in take a shot or just to be a little bit, sometimes even be a little bit greedy. Why not? Because as you can see in the stats there, shots on target, none. And for a forward, I think he should be able to get at least a couple of shots on goal, very minimum.
He didn't have any shots. Didn't have any shots at all.
No. That's my only. I say, and I mean this. I don't mean this in a criticism of the player. I just want to see him a little bit more goal bound, a little bit more. But with the rest, guys, what can you say, man? His vision, his the way he caresses the ball, bringing it down, is superb. His first touch is on point. He knows his decision making for a 21-year-old is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He nearly always makes the right decision. Very rare does he make the. And then the fact what you just touched upon as well, Sean, the fact they can now, he showed us he's got the right foot to put a ball into Son the way he did, and he got the assist. So really, it's all round. I'll give him a really good solid 8. If he could actually start finalising in front of goal, then that will go half a mark or even a full mark up.
I just want to.
Go on, Dave. No, go on.
I just wanted to add to the point that Iggy made about his understanding and the way he slotted in. If you look at the goal that was created for Sonny, Højbjerg passed it to Kulu. Kulu passed it then back to Kane and spun in behind. But then you also look at Emerson's goal. Kulu picked up the ball over the right centre of the pitch, passed it off to Sonny, who gave it to Doherty. But he didn't just watch his pass, he followed it, and he linked up with Doherty and done the 1-2, which then Doherty put into the box and Emerson scored from. So his link-up play and his understanding with Son Kane and other players in the Spurs team have been next to none since he's come in. Although he didn't have shots on target, he was heavily involved in at least 2 of the goals anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%. Would any of you, like, we had this debate on your show, Dave, like we always put the top 4 players that were in contention for man of the match, and I know there's been a lot of like debate on all of your channels over the last few days about who got the man of the match. Some people gave it to Son, some people gave it to Kane. I was making a case for Matt Doherty, and some people were saying Romero. But did anybody have Kulusevski as a contender, or was he like really good but not quite as good as some of the others?
Definitely pushing for it. I mean, the bloke's quality. He had a great game, I thought. So if it wasn't for Kane, you'd say it was Decky that was at the centre of all the attacks. But I think sort of between the two of them, they're hogging it. The prompting, the passing, it was there It was a beautiful foil for him. I mean, this I'm happy with going with an 8 on him. This is why I put Emerson so low, because I think they're just light years apart in ability and performance.
Yeah,
there's clear daylight.
Good point. Good point.
This is a proper footballer. I'm really excited about this lad. He's got a great future with us. If we can just keep him fit, we got Diamond. He just did a bit of everything, but I agree. I'd like to see him take on a shot a little bit more often, bit more confidence to go for it and like be the man.
Yeah,
I think
he started out doing it, didn't he? When he first in the first game, first couple of games, when he pulled the ball up, I think it was before the Man City goal. The other goal that he scored when he pulled it in on his left foot. I forget which game that was against. And I was like, oh wow, we've got a player here that can look up, observe, take everything in a split second, and then have the intelligence to decide, well, should I pass it? Should I run? Should I hold it up? Should I cross it? Or should I shoot? But then since then, whilst I love the guy, you're right. I think Iggy and Kuba and Dave, you all make the same point. Like, he hasn't then gone on with the confidence. And I do worry a little bit that you could find the same sort of trajectory as what happened with Lucas Moura, in that does all of the build-up play very well. But if you don't have a shot frequently enough, it's like anything, like riding it's the opposite of riding a bike. Sometimes like you'll forget how to have a shot, like you'll become so. You'll be doing it so infrequently that your first instinct will then be to pass it off to Sonny or Kane. I think the guy's good enough with his left peg to be able to have the confidence.
He's got it in his locker. This is why we want to see it. Now, we know he's got a right foot in his locker. We know he's got a goal in his locker. He showed what he can do coming off the right-hand side against Leeds, where he just smashed it bottom corner. He has got it in his locker. He's just got to be more consistent. But you know what? He's 21 years old. And if he's got all those credentials, he's already got the potential. He just needs to keep growing. The fact that that impresses me the most, like I said before, is his decision making, and he's got a real good strength mentally. He's mentally strong as well, and that is no easy thing.
Guys,
to come into the Premier League.
Yeah, he's only been here for a couple of months.
Yeah, exactly. He's come from a different league, and he's gone from one league to another, and it hasn't fazed him whatsoever. Not only has he got into the side, but he's remained in it and becoming a real important player for the team. And this is all, like you say, Eugene, in such a short space of time. Brilliant signing, has to be said.
I've also got to say, with Kulusevski, the reason why I would have put Emerson lower is that Kulusevski was covering Emerson from the front side. You had Romero covering him in the back. Don't get me wrong, Emerson done a job, but you had them two defending just as much as Emerson. So you had two players covering Emerson's arse, to be honest with you.
Just on Kulu, I do think you will see him start gaining more confidence and taking shots. I think his first objective was come in, settle into Tottenham, get into that starting lineup, link up with Kane and Son, feed them. And I do think as time goes by, you will see him gaining more and more confidence and start taking on them shots. I think this guy is one assist behind Saka. Saka's had a full season. Yeah, this has only come in started playing for Tottenham in February. So I do think. I
think he's got the most assists in across Europe since he joined Tottenham. So if you start on the day that he came, February the 1st, since then, I think there's nobody in Europe that's got more assists.
We got 60.
I think than him just since February. I think that's right. I'm pretty sure that was a stat that was bandied around recently. There's lots of stats going around. In fact, what I do want to do, I'm not going to do it right now, but I do want to move on from Kulusevski because I've got these. I've got some in the second part of the show when I do the make the case part, which is a game that some of you will know and some of you haven't played yet. There is a question there about Bentancur and Højbjerg and Kulusevski, and I've got other stats to show you about that, which were these two things from a different podcast, the Inch podcast or whatever it's called, that I pinched from their data set for that later on. So, but right now we'll come back to Kulusevski. Lots more to talk about him. We're going to move on to who's next. Benjamin Davies. That round of applause is going to drive me up the fucking wall. I need to get rid of that. It's annoying. And we're going to hand over to who's going to take the baton with this one. Cooper, have you already led with one already?
Shall I nominate somebody?
Yeah, go on, nominate someone.
Let's go for Barry.
Go, Barry.
Thank you, Cuba69. No, look. It was his first goal at home in the Premier League, and he, we're waiting. Yeah. So look again. There was a bit of a doubt in the week when he left the Wales international camp early. So there was all that talk of who was going to potentially play at left back, but we didn't really think. I don't know whether there was any doubt in people's minds about whether Ben Davies would play or not play, because there was talk of moving him across and playing Rodon or Sanchez or anything else. And look, another solid game. He's got a goal. It's the ground jewels there aren't amazing. He only won 1 out of 5. But I think for me, 7 out of 10. I don't think it didn't set the world on fire, but he was in the right place at the right time. Got that goal before half time that was critical. And
what a header it was, though. It was a sublime flick, wasn't it? Absolutely sublime.
He had to really. I mean, I'm no header of a football, so I couldn't tell you how difficult that header
nobody
was.
Ever. Oh, listen, I'm a lot of things, but I'm no header of a football. Okay.
But yeah, he got in the right position at the right time, glanced it in, used the power of he could have quite easily tried, gone into it too heavy and it would have gone over the bar or missed it or skimmed off his head. It was a great header to kind of get us back into it. So, and like Views on Spurs says, he's been solid since Conte's coming, and you can't, the performances that we were seeing before from him in this game, a solid 7 out of 10. So,
yeah. Alan, do you subscribe to the idea sometimes that Ben Davies is maybe like always the bridesmaid, never the bride when it comes to where the superlatives go as looking at the defence? Like everyone looks at Romero, everyone's fallen in love with Romero, rightly so. The guy's an absolute beast and a youngster. And Eric Dyer is the kind of, the rock, I guess, in the middle that does his job, and he's a leader. He speaks the different languages. He can communicate. And when he was out, we missed him. Ben Davies, for me, he goes under the radar, and I feel like he's always solid enough. I know he had a couple of mistakes where he slips over a bit in the early part of the season, but generally for me, he's always like a 7 out of 10. Never really disappoints too much. Never excels, but he's a really good part of the squad. Do you agree with that, or do you think something different?
I'll be honest with you. I've always backed Ben Davies. Not so much. I've backed him in the centre back position. One of the three. I think he started to get weaker playing as a left back or a left wing back. I mean, and that's weird because, to be honest with you, the season we come second, everyone kept raving on about Rose and Walker, and yet Ben Davies played more games than Ian Walker, Danny Rose.
Yeah.
So he's but as a centre back, he seems to be so much more controlled. He seems to be able to control his game better. He doesn't need the pace as a centre back, whereas as a left back, he needed it. So yeah, I've got no arguments about him being a 7 at all. I think he, and I weren't far from the goal, so it was even better.
Yeah, fantastic. Brian, how about you, mate? What are your thoughts on Ben Davies? Do you want to see him replaced in the summer? Do you want to see him leave the club? Do you want to see just us improve and use him as a squad man, or do you like him as a first team regular? What are your overall thoughts on him?
I certainly don't want him leaving the team. Do we need to get an upgrade? Like I've said before, every single player apart from Son, Kane, Romero, and Lloris are upgradable. Every single one of them. And if you could do it, do it. But Ben Davies isn't a set the world on fire player. He isn't going to do any brilliant showboating or skills. He's a constant 7. And I'm with you, Sean. You cannot underestimate how pivotal he's been in sorting that back three out. It's a position he plays for Wales. And people had a go at him for the slip against Southampton that he did. Listen, Ben Davies didn't plan to slip. You can play a bad ball or put in a bad tackle. That is an error. slipping on a wet surface is not down to Ben Davies. That's the ground and physics. So he's coming for a lot of flack. And as I've always said, if people come in for flack and you give flack, you've got to be big enough to turn around and say, do you know what, this guy deserves a hell of a lot of credit. And this season, since we've done this back three, and since Conte has stuck with him constantly, he has been a welcomed addition to this back three. He's a pivotal part of it, and he deserves a lot of credit. And talking about, like I've been saying, Harry Kane would have been proud of that header. That's how good that header was.
Delicious. Yeah.
So listen, if we get a better defender than him in, do we do it? Hell yes, you do. But you do that with every position. That is the idea of football, to get the best players in the best positions. He's never been one of the bad eggs. He's never said a bad word about the club. His attitude,
no trouble. Yeah,
never ever comes into consideration. And I think he's probably had his best season at the club, and he deserves a lot of credit.
He's a great professional, guys. First and foremost, he's a great professional. He's clearly a likable lad, not only in our dressing room, but in Wales's dressing room. So he's a first team starter at the moment for both. He's played every single minute of every single game this season. So he tells you that physically he looks after himself first and foremost. You can forgive it. You can forgive one slip, because that can happen in football. And whoever's played football has always slipped once or the other. It's when you do it like what Son did, like Man United, when they did it 6-7 times. Then, mate, you've got the wrong boots on. In that instance, you tell him you've got the wrong boots on. Fix up. But and that's not me having a go at Son. It's just that it's just because we're talking about slipping with the footwear. But look, this guy's been a great professional. He's like you rightly say, Brian. He's a 7 out of 10. He's never going to be. He's not like one of the good players where you get an 8, 9 out of 10, then he drops to 6.5, then 7. His guy is constantly 7. And the only time I've seen him really at difficulty was against Ronaldo, really, at White Hart Lane. Earlier on the season before Conte came in. So that was the real, he's solid, man. And yes, we should be able to get a better left centre back, a higher prestige, but I would definitely still have him around in the squad, because like I said, he's a great pro, and he's always fought for the shirt and the badge. He may not be everyone's cup of tea, but this guy has served the shirt and badge well. He deserves he deserves more respect than what he does, than what he's getting, sorry.
Yeah, no, I agree, mate. I agree. A lot of love for Ben, and I listen. The only position that the only reason I would like to replace somebody in the back three is because I think that we are woefully defensively when it comes to our aerial presence. And
I agree.
I think Romero is, and we'll speak about him in a second, but I think Romero is generally like a world-class defender when it comes to ball on the ground. His timing, his aggression, his like ability to preempt where the ball's going to be when the ball's on the floor is second to none. Better than Van Dijk. The only place where he isn't very good at the moment is his timing for jumping and aerially. And you could argue the same a little bit about Eric Dyer. And Ben Davies, I think, is
I agree.
Probably one of the better than the other two aerially, but still not good enough. And if you wanted to improve our defense by 2 or 3 times over, if you could get somebody in that was 6'3" and that was an absolute monster in the air, who could then teach the rest of the defenders how to time all that stuff as well, then that's how we could go from where we are to where we want to be. We concede so many fewer goals if we didn't concede aerially, and we need someone in the back three that can do that. And if you're going to replace any of those three, it would be Ben Davies. So find me a left-footed centre-back who's also a 6'3" monster in the air, and I'll bite your hand off for him.
To be honest with you, sorry, mate. Sorry, Dave.
No, go on.
No, all I was going to say, the ideology of my left centre back, and I'm only throwing this name out there to give you a picture of what I see someone like what's the guy's name? Mings from Aston Villa. Is that right? Is that his name?
Tyrone Mings. Tyrone Mings. Yeah, Tyrone Mings. He's left back.
Somebody like left centre back. Or he plays there. He has played there for England as well, and he does a really good job at Aston Villa. I see someone like that stature, that size, big physicality, have a presence when we're defending corners as well as when we're attacking them. Because that's where I feel us as a team, even when we're attacking, guys, I don't feel we're doing enough from set pieces, and he should definitely be. That should be an area that we and you would argue probably one of the fullbacks or the wing backs in this case should be physically a little bit bigger as well to help us out when we're defending as well as attacking corners.
Completely agree with that, Iggy. That's
Yeah,
why I don't want us to sign that Lamptey fella from Brighton because I just think he's too small. I want us if we're going to improve a wing back, I think we should get someone who's
Spence is the one, guys. Spence.
Good Spence.
And I just want to say I agree with Shawnee. Look, the reason why Ben Davies and Dyer do look so good, in my opinion, is because you do have someone like Romero there. You look at one of the chances Newcastle had. In fact, you look at the block that Romero made. Jamie Carragher made that quote where he says that's the difference between a good and bad defender. That ball still got between Dyer and Davies. Or who was there to mop it up? Who was there to get the block in? Romero, the way he read that game. When they had Sanchez in beside them, the whole back three was completely shaky. Yeah. Yes, Dyer and Davies were the better of the three, but it was still shaky. And we cannot forget that. Let's not forget the period we went through where we were losing games and everybody was saying we're not getting top four. This is one of the worst teams we've seen, and rightly so. But since Romero's come back from injury and slotted in beside them, look at the improvement in them two guys' games.
Dave, I'd include Dyer in that as well, man.
Oh, yeah, no, both of them. I'm including Dyer and Davies in this for me. Yeah. And I just think if we do want to, and look, if we do have a good summer this year, we, by all means, we have the potential to be able to challenge Liverpool and City. And I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to win the league, but we're the third most informed team in the league.
This year.
And if you look at what Conte is doing, if you could add maybe some more better defenders to that who can give you more consistency over the course of the season, who knows where it can take this team. But I do agree with you, Sean. I do think we still have to look to upgrade on Dyer and Davies. Just because they're playing well, we shouldn't look to settle. We can keep them as squad players, yes. But I do think we need to upgrade because when Sanchez was in there, it was an absolutely appalling back three, in my opinion.
Yeah. Liam, I wouldn't say Spencer's bang average. In the 2 games he's played against the Premier League, I've been very impressed with him. Bang average are the win backs that we got now.
If you look at Jed Spence, what he does offer is he can run with the ball so he can get himself out of trouble. He can also play, but he also has good end product as well up in the final third. He's going to be a very good player. Look, if Tottenham don't take the gamble on him, someone else will, and it'll work out for them.
Dave, do you know what it is with me? I don't mind if a wing back. Now we're not talking about fullback. Yeah. If a wing back is not as good coming back, I can live with that because that's the purpose of having one. We've got cover for him. You'll have a midfielder slotting in for him when he's going forward. You've got a right centre back coming forward. Coming across if needed. I need him though. If he's going to be that bad going back, he needs to be excellent going forward, whipping those ballers in the box. Actually have end products, having really good touches. This guy has that and he's super young. He can still improve as well defensively. And I think under Conte, this guy would blossom even more. So, Liam, respect for your opinion, but I disagree with it, mate.
Well, even defensively, though, this guy is good. He has strength. He has pacey power. He gets back. He is a willing runner. He's not lazy. He will get back. And
is there a reason though? Why is he at Middlesbrough but on loan at Forest? Like, if he's that good, I know where you're coming from. I'm not saying he's not. Just for the argument, devil's advocate. I like to play that.
No, of course.
Like everyone's highlight reel on YouTube is the best 5 minutes of their life, compressed the best over 10,000 minutes of football. It's the best 5 minutes they've ever played. So everyone can look.
Borough have been lucky. Borough have been lucky. They've got 2 great right backs.
What's the other one? Jones. What's the other guy called? Jones. Yeah, he's a good player as well, isn't he? Yeah,
that's exactly it, Alan. He might have not had enough minutes to play. If he's up against 2 really good players, he's thought, you know what? Let me take my trade somewhere else, and he's blossomed because he's getting first team football. And everyone knows, man, if you're not playing football or you're not getting enough minutes, you're not going to blossom. But if you get a run of games, then you get first of all, you need the run of games, and secondly, you need the manager's confidence in you. Once you've got those 2, then the players around you can see what you're about, and then they have confidence in you, and that's how you blossom as a player.
Yeah, 100%.
I mean, we as a club should know better than most that you can see players who aren't getting into your team go somewhere else and blossom. We see it all the time.
Horses for courses, right? As well, isn't it? Yeah.
Even the difference a manager can make. Look at Matt Doherty under Jose Mourinho compared to Matt Doherty under Conte. Even the difference a manager and his system can make.
Conte's maxed him. He's actually, you know what Conte's done there? He's saying, right, lad, look, we need a few things to improve. But if you show me your attitude and your commitment to become a better player is there, I will do the rest with you. And he's always been banging on one thing about Doherty is he's got great attitude and he's willing to work his ass off every single day at the training ground to become better. And Conte has pushed him as the best he can, and we definitely have seen improvement. He will never be elite, we know that, but we have seen signs, and that's all you can do as a manager and as a player, to play the best that you possibly can, even though you're still limited. You still push yourself to the best you can be, and that we have seen that. And that's why we should support these guys at least at the end of the season.
Yeah, 100%. And we are going to, in the second part, after we've done these player ratings, we are going to talk a bit more about the wing backs, along with some other topics. And Ishak Tarafdar here. Hi, mate, by the way. Good to see you, buddy. He's saying, what about Conrad Lehmer? So there was some news out about him today.
Yeah,
great player. And I'm going to star this comment and come back to it, Ishak, because we can talk about that a bit later on. All right, so we are, by the way, quickly, guys, there's 55 people that are watching at the moment. Appreciate everyone stopping by. They're really awesome. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. And in 10 minutes time on the hour mark, I'm going to start putting out my first round of links for everybody's channels. But we are going to move on now to get through, because this has taken longer than I thought it would have done. But I love it. Love the chat. So we're going to move on to who's next on the list. Oh, by the way, what did we get? Do we all agree he was a solid 7, Davies? Yeah.
Yeah, more than good. I'll give him a 7. I'll always give a half mark more for scoring a goal. So 7.5 for me.
I give him an 8.
Okay, so not everyone agrees then. I'm out. Barry, out.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What'd you give him, Barry? What'd you give him?
He gave him a 7,
mate.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's half a mark more is not the end of the world, man.
But it's not everyone agreeing, Iggy, and unfortunately, the rules are the rules.
The rules are the fucking rules, mate. See you later.
Ruthless. You know what? I tried, man.
I didn't make the rules. Oh, wait, no, I did. Sorry, I did. Yeah.
We're thinning 8 then, because I give him a 7 as well.
See you later, Cooper. Fuck off. No. All right. Okay, Eric Dyer's up next. Who hasn't had a chance yet to crack open from the start of it? Has everyone gone first already?
Alan?
No.
Alan, you haven't done one yet, mate. So go on then, Eric Dyer, buddy. Take it away. Let me get his stats up for you.
I called him for a 7 as well. At the end of the day, he done a solid job at the back. It's weird when he was missing, how much we missed him. You know what I mean? He does seem to hold that line, help the line. He's usually the last man of the 3. You know, you got Davis a little bit ahead, you've got Romero ahead, and then you got Dyer. And then when the ball comes, he's the one that steps forward to try and gain that offside. You know, he didn't score. He was unlucky with a free kick early on in the game.
Yeah.
I thought he'd done a solid job.
He got 115 touches. That's the reason I was flicking through then. There's no one. I mean, Romero's got 94, but apart from that, no one's even close to 115 touches. He's got by far the most touches in the game. And considering second half, it was all us going forward. I mean, maybe he snuck under the radar for me when I was looking at my
92% passing as well.
Yeah.
So everything from the back starts off with him. Sorry, Alan.
Even though the key pass, you know, it's
didn't give away any fouls apparently. Yeah. There's 0 fouls there. 5 clearances. Yeah. Sorry, Alan, mate. I'm taking over your spot. Sorry. Oh,
no, as I say, I don't think he made any errors. You know, it's when a player makes an error, especially in defence and goalkeeper, that's when they're picked up more. I don't remember him making an error in the game.
Yeah, I don't either.
And as I say, he seems to be helping that back line. He really does seem to help with that back line. So
and the way he got stuck in for that last goal as well, for our last goal, he's the one that actually won the ball. He got stuck in and got a strafing forward.
Yeah. Well, that was. I thought that was the Bergwijn goal. I thought he was the one that tackled him. Wasn't the last goal though?
It was Lucas's pass, wasn't it? It was Lucas's pass to set him through. But for me, this guy here, I know his aerial duels weren't. He's kind of half and half really. One of nearly a half of them. But he was up against a really, tall customer. He's like Wood, isn't it? Wood.
Yeah, Chris
And
Wood. Chris Wood.
He's a big lad. He's a big lad. So you're half and half is fair. He would win some, you'll win some. But this guy, like I said, man, everything from the back. You see, when Bentancur is looking to receive the ball, Dyer is the first man he's looking for. Is getting Bentancur on that ball, and everything starts off from there. If you notice, all our build-up play, our passing, even the one that set up to Son goal, I think it was like 10, 11 passes. It all started from there. So this guy is pivotal, not only for his presence, his passing, his leadership. He come out. Our second half, I had the defense in front of me, and he is the communicator, and it's on his say so. Sometimes he does it better than others, and I admit Newcastle didn't really pose too much of a threat attacking wise, really. So I have to try and balance that. But the signs of a good communicator, good leadership, and he's really been pivotal, along with Romero, which David touched upon earlier. They've been pivotal for our defence this year, and the amount we're not really leaking a lot of goals. One through set play, and the rest of it really. Apart from that Willock shot blocked by Romero, I remember little else threat-wise in our goal.
Well, I have to come in here because I think you have to add to this. We missed Dyer more when he was out than we missed Romero when he was out.
Yeah.
When Romero was out, Dyer, Davies and Sanchez had a good little run. And then when Dyer was out and Romero was back, Dyer's communication, Dyer's leadership from the back was missing. This guy, this season, has been an unsung hero. He has been phenomenal. He has been outstanding, and he is so pivotal to everything. And the one thing I will say with Dyer is I've never been one of those that said, Dyer, I've had enough, get him out. I've always kind of been not against him, but I've been like, I've been on the fence with him. I've never been fully Dyer, get out. And this season, like I said with Ben Davies, this guy deserves a huge amount of credit from people because he has been brilliant. He has been brilliant and is pivotal to everything. Just in his communication alone, what he brings, and it was another rock solid performance from him. He was fantastic.
Yeah, there's a similarity with Eric Dyer to when Manchester United rose to their sort of dominant era. They had all these stellar big names in the team and all the youngsters coming through with amazing talent, and there was always that rock at the back. It was Steve Bruce. And he was a sort of 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 every week. Yet it was one of the most important players on the team. And Dyer's doing that for us. He never stands out, but he's there. He's the glue. He holds that defence together. And, you can score 6 and 7s. This is why the player ratings are pass in a way. Because he's more important doing his 6 or 7 out of 10 every week than some of the players scoring 7s and 8s.
Yeah. Consistency.
So many other players get affected,
Consistency often goes unrewarded. Guys, just before we carry on, I am going to take this the moment a second to start pumping the channels. But before we do, I got a little bit of bad news and a little bit of good news. The bad news is, unfortunately, Bob Spur, he's not going to make his debut tonight. He's feeling a little bit under the weather. So sorry to hear that, Bob. I hope you feel okay, mate. And you come on next time, make the debut.
Yeah.
But where there's sad news, there is also great news. And the great news is that I feel like we've got our first romance of the community in the audience starting out here. The Americanka and Luca 14 seem to be flirting away in the comments.
Oh, yeah.
Telling everyone how they love each other's opinions. It's a little bit sickening, if I'm honest, but I love it. I'm happy to play. This is what we do here. We provide great content and ways for future love to blossom. So congratulations, you two.
Mate, I have to say it's the second because the first and the royalty is Bob Spur and Kim.
Fair enough. Okay, well, yeah.
And that's royalty. That's royalty.
I can't compete with that, but I'm just, give me my moment, Brian. Fuck it up.
Yeah, come on, Brian. Sean.
You're talking about Superman here, so I can't let Superman ever go unnoticed.
Sean.
Yes, Barry.
Sean, what? Just Barry to be unnoticed. Thank you, Sean. That's really appreciative. I got excited then because I thought you were bringing Danny Kiriakou on and you were going to stick him next to me, but you've ruined my night now as well.
No, I don't know where the Tottenham's Michael Bublé is. I haven't heard from him. I'm not sure if he's coming up.
Do it.
It's Michael Bublé.
Well, you wait till I both see you next in person.
All right, let's get back to it. Let's get back to it.
Love you. Say that now, brother.
All right, let me get back to it. So who's next on the Oh, what did we decide for Dyer? Was he an 8 or 7?
I went for a
What was
7.
it?
I went for a 7.
What's
Yeah, I'll go with a 7.
Yeah,
It's fine.
I'll go with that. I'll go with that. It's
Solid
fair.
7.
It's a difficult. It's like I said, 6 or 7. I mean, even if
They
you said he
weren't
was
tested
6,
much, guys.
important.
Newcastle didn't test really that much, so it's
Yeah.
But for
That's true.
concentration and focus, definitely a solid 7.
all right? So we're giving him a
It's
7.
the trouble when you're so on top. It's like when Hugo Lloris has nothing to do. How do you rate him? It's difficult sometimes.
Well, he had very little to do on the game against Newcastle. But what he did do, he did very badly, which is why I'm going to pick up Brian Daigle on his comment earlier about the only players that are irreplaceable, and he kept Hugo Lloris in there. I think that's up for debate at the moment. So we're going to come back to that when his name pops up. But let's see who's next. It might be right now. Who could it be? It's Harry Kane. I think I know who wants to start this one.
Someone's finding like a Cheshire cat.
Listen, I think I'm gonna
just give it to him, man. Just give it to him.
No, I don't want to. Someone else can have it. Instead of talking about Kane, someone else can have it.
We're an hour in. Give it to David, and we can wrap up after he's finished.
It's gone.
David, no, come on, Dave. I'm going to get his. I'm sure you know his stats. I'm sure you dream about his stats all the time. But
Yeah.
I'm going to get them up for you just so you can, just in case you need to reflect on it. Take it away, mate. And I'm going to start putting everyone's because we've still got a long time to go, guys. We're still here for another 2 more hours, but I'm going to start putting everyone's channels in the comments now, so that if anyone is watching, all 50 of you, if you have or not subscribed to any of these guys' channels, please do. Just hit the link. It won't take you away from the stream. It'll just open up another tab on your computer. And just show some love to everybody because they're all giving up their time for our benefit tonight. Sorry, who said that? Yes, Alan.
Yeah, sure. I'm just going to have to pop off for 10 minutes because I've got to just spread my legs. All right.
All right, mate. No worries, buddy. Come back whenever you want. Cheers, mate.
How's life?
Now. I'm going to start. Sorry, Dave. Crack on with your Harry Kane review.
Yeah, look, I'll keep it short and sweet. I think, look, I agree with Sky Sports giving the man of the match. I'll tell you why. I think, look, the cross to Doherty, ultimately, that was a beautiful cross. Absolutely world class. You know, it was on a plate for him. Sonny could have tapped it in, just couldn't get onto it. And then Doherty followed it in, got the diving header. But the one I loved absolutely the most was the ball in behind for Kulu. If you go back and look at the goal, Son actually made a lovely run as well, but he was offside. And for where Kane was to notice that, and within a split second to make that decision and see it in front of him and decide to play Kulu, which then gets Son back onside, which creates that that goal for me, I think is absolutely outstanding. And what I think he doesn't actually get enough praise for is when you have a guy who's chasing the Jimmy Greaves' record, the Premier League record, and at the stage of the career he is at right now, for him to sacrifice the goals to be the creator for the greater good of the team, to be able to try and help drag this team back to top forward, the rest of the guys, is absolutely should not be underrated. I mean, look, you can find a few examples maybe over the years, Rooney, a Totti, someone like that, but no one in their prime that are chasing the records Harry Kane are chasing. A lot of strikers always have egos. They want all they want all the accolades, you know. But this guy is willing to sacrifice them for the greater good of the team and allow Sonny to kind of take up that striker role like we've seen against Newcastle, like we've seen against West Ham. And I just think overall, I think anything going forward over the last couple of games a lot of it has stemmed from Harry Kane. You know, dropping deep, picking up that ball, being able to get turned and getting players in behind. I think he had an absolute great game against Newcastle. And let's not forget the absolute delicious ball he played over for Sonny. Sonny could have had another goal. It was right on his foot. He was in the box. He just dragged it wide. He probably should have scored. Yep. I thought it was absolutely outstanding. Switches of play as well. You know, brilliant. All around brilliant.
Oh, was that the first? That was when it was 0-0 when Kulusevski put the little flick onto Harry Kane. Is that what you're talking about?
No. The chance I'm on about for Sonny, I think, was
Sonny.
Between I think it was actually after Sonny's goal. I think straight away he could have more or less had another one. Kane played a delicious ball over the top. If you go and watch the extended highlights, you'll see it.
That's right. No, I remember.
It's in there, but it's between I think the third and the fourth goal. I mean, it was an absolute delicious ball. He could have even played Højbjerg as well if he wanted to.
Is there any like justification whatsoever to liquidate that asset in the summer? Like thinking that he's only got 2 years left on his contract. Is there a valuation that makes it make sense? Or is it just there's so few strikers and everybody wants a striker and we've got the best in the world? Like he's priceless. But then do we run the risk of losing him, one more year on his, if he winds down another year, then suddenly we start panicking, right? Like, is there any justification at all about...
Personally, I'll let him stay another 2 years and let him go on a free. That's my
Same
personal
here.
point. I know it doesn't
Same
make
here.
any logical sense. I know Levy would never let that happen. I know that. But for me, if he doesn't sign a new contract for whatever reason, he can run it out because I think he deserves it. So then he can pick his destination where he wants to go. But I would keep him though for 2 years.
Yeah.
I honestly believe we're going to win trophies in the next 2 years as well. I think he's going to stay beyond that.
I hope so, mate. I wouldn't let him go for sure.
But I mean, as for selling him, it doesn't matter if you get 150 million. Who do you replace him with? Who can offer what he does?
Exactly.
Because I'm not seeing anyone.
Nobody.
He's been involved in 25 plus goals a season, whether it's scoring or assisting, for the last 8 years.
I agree, man.
You can't buy somebody else like that in world football. If you sell Harry Kane, you're going to have to buy 2 or 3 players and provide a proper attacking unit between them to be able to just mirror what Harry Kane does.
He's a 9 and 10 combined. I don't know any other player that can play 2 positions as
he can play an 8 as well.
One. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's like
play all of them.
He's got the finishing of whoever you like in world football, in past and present. Like Brian said to him once a long time ago, and it's stuck in my head. I don't know a striker that hits the side netting as much as he does in world football. Maybe Lewandowski, I don't know, but he's up there. He number 10. Name me another number 10 around in world football. De Bruyne, maybe, that's got the same level of quality passing that he does.
Yeah.
And number 8 that can spread the ball like Glenn Hoddle. It's just got everything in one. You have that in one player.
And he's 29, right?
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
So he's still probably got 6 years because he doesn't rely on his pace, so he's still got.
If we've only got him for another 2 years, then I'll keep him until he runs out his contract. But I'm going with Kuva. This summer is massive. If we improve the squad, we can win. We can win. We can win definitely next season. We can definitely be more competitive than we have in this season. And that is all he needs to know, that the club's going in the right direction to win stuff with this manager.
You know what you got on top of that? What you got right on top of that is if you took the picture and his name off the way, so you didn't know it was Harry Kane, and said that's someone's heat map who absolutely ran the show and dominated the game, you wouldn't think of another player. You wouldn't look at that heat map. He's hardly in the box. His main heat map was in our own half, and he literally ran the entire game. You cannot say any other forward or midfielder can have such an impact on a game and hardly be in his... Look at the box. He's hardly in it.
Boys,
no player is doing that. No player is doing that. And if someone turned around and you took Harry Kane's name and picture of that and said, this is Harry Kane's heat map, what do you reckon he did assist? You'd be like, well, I don't think he had a really good game. But that heat map just goes to show how pivotal
Ryan,
he is.
if you see that heat map and you ask someone that's never seen him play football what position he plays, he'll tell you he's a midfielder.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly. That's the thing.
I mean, look at Paddy's comment there. And I mean, that you can't put it better than what he's just done there, because he really is, guys. Listen, we're running out of, like, after what more can we say about this guy? There's not really much more that we can add. It's unbelievable.
Groddle. We're going to call him Groddle from now on.
If you look at that heat map, guys, it's exactly what I was saying about him, sacrificing the goals and him getting them records for the greater good of the team. He's one of the only players in world football that when he gets the ball, players just run. They just go because they know this guy has the weight on the pass. 9 times out of 10, that pass will land at their feet.
Yeah.
I think Groddle sounds a lot better than Heaves as well.
Listen, is he the greatest of all time that has never won a trophy?
Yes.
Yeah.
In Tottenham history, yes.
Name me someone else.
Name your player in world football that is as good
as
consistently.
That's my question. I haven't got the break. I haven't thought about everyone in world football. I'd say if you're talking in Tottenham's history, 1,000,000,000%.
Yeah.
World football, obviously, there may be a player somewhere that may have been, but in Tottenham Hotspur history, no one comes close to this man. And we're
He's got
talking
how
the
many cups?
Dembélés, the Vertongans, the Ericssons. This man is the Jurgen Klinsmans. This guy is miles ahead. Miles
Do you
ahead
know
in
what?
that.
If England have any hope of winning the World Cup, this is the guy, man. This is the guy.
For
And
brilliant.
do you know what? And if it came down to it, and this kills me to even say it, but if it came down to it, I would cheer him. If it came down, he's in the final against anyone else, I would cheer for this guy to win it just for him. Sorry, man.
I just want to correct you, Shawnee. He does have a trophy. He won the Audi Cup, lad.
That's such
for sheer genius that hasn't won anything, though. I think of Matt Letizia. Absolutely amazing player.
With all due respect to
Letizia, over him every time.
Kuva, with all due respect to Letizia, and he was a great footballer. I remember him. I remember watching this guy play. He was superb. But Kane is on another level.
Yeah, you take Kane every time, definitely.
Yeah.
Even this season, he's come full circle. He's come full circle this season. It's been unbelievable.
I think this is the funny thing as well, looking at the stats. I mean, this is where Will Stewart's quite right to look at the stats in this case. When you put it all together, you look at Kane's performance. He was pleasing on the eye. You know he'd done well. But then, strangely, you look at 38 touches and you think that's not much. You look at that, it's not much. It doesn't tie together. But then you look at the quality that goes with it. But then you look at that quality, the long balls completed, the assists, the chances created, the key passes.
Well, but actually, if you think about it, right, Kulusevski had 5 key passes. He only had 3. What's that, sorry?
Oh, no, sorry, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, Kulusevski had 5 key passes. His pass accuracy there at 67% is very low, even though I know that's because he was pinging long balls. But this is where stats sometimes could undermine an argument, because we all think, he was out of this world and certainly a man of the match contender. I'd argue that those stats don't do him justice. They don't do he's got poor accuracy. He touched the ball, 30%, 40% as much as Eric Dyer did. He lost the ball 12 times out of the 38. 1 in every 3 times he touched the ball, it went to the opposition. He only won half his ground duels. He didn't win any aerial duels. You could argue that the stats don't tell a particularly good story apart from 3 key passes. But in reality, he was phenomenal.
With them stats, and you look at the type of player he is, you also have to take in consideration what he's being asked to do by the manager and what sort of player he is. He's going to lose the ball more than the average person because he takes more risk than the average person.
Yep,
he takes longer ranges of passes than the average person and stuff like that.
Yeah. No, I get it. This is my point. Is just that this is where the seeing eye test and the stats differ.
Rather than looking at it as a negative, perhaps on Harry Kane, I'll look at it as a positive on Decky. How good his performance was.
Yeah,
because it's up there. It's up there with Kane's, isn't it?
Yeah, Decky was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just to let you know, it's Everton 1, Burnley 1, or should I say Burnley 1, Everton 1 after 20 minutes.
Nice. Guys, we've been doing this for an hour and 15 minutes. I've got loads more stuff I want to get to that's far more exciting than doing this review. So I want to run through just the last few players. Just quickly, who we got left to talk about? Let me know in the comments, guys, if you've been on. This is Wednesday and we're 3 days after the after the show. If you're sick and tired of talking about the Newcastle game and you want to move on, we can. But I just thought it'd be because I haven't done a stream for so long. I thought it'd be nice to go through the player ratings. All right, Sonny. Who has it? Barry?
No, Eugene.
Eugene. Sorry, mate. Sorry, Eugene. Sorry, buddy. Sorry.
Yeah. All right. Since give it to the Asian guy for the Asian guy, right?
Cultural appropriation.
Yeah. But guys, come on, Sonny, right? A lot of people have been complaining that he's been off form, but he's still performing, right? He's got the stats that prove it.
Yeah.
But during this game, I think I'll give him somewhere around 8.5. Right, 8.5 with the goal he scored, and with the work they put in, right, and with a lot of the things that the people are arguing with, why was he substitute, right? So, but like I said, at the moment now, with Conte in charge, right, we trust in him to give the players the time that they deserve, and if it's time to let him have a rest, you can take him off. But Sonny's performance against Newcastle, and of course to take into account that Newcastle weren't that brilliant overall, right? So after the first goal that went in, he did what he had to do, right? Even though a lot of people blame him for the goal because of his kick out at the Newcastle player, and from that free kick we conceded a goal, right?
Yeah.
Even though maybe Lloris had to take some blame for that too because of his goalkeeping, but he did show that, he did put it back in there. He was the one who put the cross in for the equalizer for Ben Davis. So a solid 8.5 for me, for Sonny. A solid 8.5, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think he was an 8.5 as well. I mean, he got 46 touches. He had like 96% pass accuracy, 5 key passes. Again, if we're going to compare apples to apples, then to me, I thought Sonny was superb, but I did think he you have to mark him down a little bit. Knock a half point off because he did lose possession of the ball 10 seconds before he fouled, and then he fouled as well, and it led to a goal. So if you're going to give him a 9, I think it comes down to an 8.5. Does anyone disagree with that, or want to make a different case? Or
No, I'll work on. Yeah. Sorry, go on.
Will Stewart disagrees with that.
No, I think that's a fair. I think that's fair. I think you've summarised it perfectly. Is that he had some good, some bad. I don't blame him for the free kick because the keeper's got to take control of that situation. I think he's got to absolutely take. I won't blame Sonny for that. But yeah, I agree. The foul that he made for it, but he made up for it by scoring a goal, and he generally, I thought, it was a really good performance. So I think that's a fair score, more than a fair score.
Okay. All right. Next up, who we got? Last 5. I've got rid of Winksy and Bergwijn as well, or Lucas Moura, sorry, because they didn't really play enough to have too much to talk about. Who is that? Bentancur. Let's give this one to Barry, and then we'll give next one to Brian, and then we'll give our next one to Iggy and to Kuba and to Dave, and then we can get on to the next bit.
Okay.
Well, guys, Sean, thanks for having me on. It's
you can jump off.
3 a.m. here now, right, in Malaysia.
Shit. Yeah.
I had to get some shut eye before I got work tomorrow. Thanks for having me on, and guys,
thank you very much for coming on, buddy. Come back again. Let me just put your channel out there. Do you want to just plug your channel? I've got the link in here, but what can people find on your channel, buddy?
Spurs Vision TV. For me, I'm quite free and easy. If I want to do a show, I'll do a show. If I don't want to do a show, I won't do a show, right, guys? But if you do, hop on, join me. We have a worldwide panel most of the time from all over the world, from Australia, India, Canada, of course, from the UK, and sometimes we try to get people from Nepal, Singapore, right? That's how I do it. So, guys, thanks for having me on. Thanks for the
Pleasure.
Thanks, Eugene, mate.
Right.
Good night. Appreciate you, buddy.
Right. Good night.
See you, mate. Take care. Cheers, buddy.
Right. Bye.
As one person leaves, ladies and who could it be? Ladies and gentlemen, you might know him as the Bun, but sometimes when he tries to leave a stream and then joins another stream, he comes back in and he's 2 buns, and then he's known as Princess Leia. He's also known as the Tottenham community's Michael Bublé and Barry's little crush. Ladies and gentlemen, please give it up to
Oh, good. How is everyone doing?
Good,
All good.
Hello, Barry. Did you respond to my goddamn WhatsApp, you idiot?
Mate, I've literally just got home from work. Oh, man.
Okay.
Seems a poor excuse to me.
Seeing that he's been out WhatsApping on other groups, I know it's a poor excuse, but
I knew that was coming. Wait, you leave Danny alone. You leave Danny alone, Brian, or me and you will fall out.
he's too timing me.
All right, let's just, because I want to crack on. Bum, we're going to give you the next one, but Barry was first for this one. Benson Core. I think it's Benson Core. It's just on the inside. Yeah, Benson Core, mate.
He's the reason we're playing on Wednesdays next season. He came with his mate from Sweden. Rodrigo Benson. Not as good as your song earlier, Sean. No, look, another fantastic performance. Again, you know, in the heart of that midfield, just absolutely, just, you know, look, we were talking about heat maps earlier. I mean, that heat map is insane as well. You know, 5 out of 5. You know, ground duels won. Okay, the aerial duels not so great, and okay, he did lose possession, but hey, he's a rock. He's a rock in there. He's that spine. He's that. You know, for me, he's again another solid performance after the Man U game, where you know we can all agree that was probably his worst performance. He's come back and hit the ground running, and you know him and Pierre in the midfield look sensational, and even more so after that news today with Ollie Skip. So for me, I would say probably a 7.5 for Sunday. I know, you know, I don't think it's
Get out. Sorry.
Don't forget, he smashed St. Maximin soul as well.
He did still, yeah. When he gave him a little cheeky elbow. You're only giving him a 7.5, Barry. That seems a tad harsh to me. I thought he was.
Look, if we're looking at like the Sons as an 8.5 and looking at where we were with that, I mean, I think he's contributed more in other games. But hey, it's a good performance, right? I'm not saying he played crap because I give him 7.5, but
yeah,
you know.
All right. Anyone want to make the case? Yeah, Dave, you want to make the case for Bentancur?
Just a general point on Bentancur. I'm not going to make a case for him to give him any higher. I would give him higher. I'd give everyone higher just partially because we won. I love winning. That's all. That's all. Yeah. Look, I just want to say, since this guy has come in, he has completely transformed the way we play. He has been the key to it because we can now play out the back. He goes looking for the ball, but when he gets the ball, his first pass is always forward. He doesn't, not like Harry Winks, who was passing it backwards or who didn't really want the ball because he was just putting us back under pressure, whereas Bentancur gets turned, gets the ball forward, and you're not giving the opposition the time to get back behind the ball and set their defensive shape the way that when Harry Winks was in there, it was happening against us. And for me, you look at a lot of the possession we're keeping in games now compared to what we were. He's completely transformed the way we play, and he's key. Because before, you know, we'd get the ball into the defence, try and pass it into midfield, go back to the defence, and you're booting it long. And then you're asking Son and Lucas to drop really deep, pick up the ball really deep in their own half, and try and run with it and get out. But since he's come into this team, we can now pass out into the back line. He finds pockets of space to receive the ball. He picks it up, and he gets us going forward. And most importantly, he gets the ball to Kane a hell of a lot of times. But to Son and Kulu in areas where they only have they can stay up higher. They only have the back line to get at. And I think that's why you're seeing us ultimately score a lot more goals. We scored more goals in this calendar year than any other team. And I think that's probably the reason why.
This guy, I just want to add to that. This guy, whether he's under pressure or not, he always demands the ball. And that is a sign of someone that's got character. He brings this shithousery, which I love in a player. When necessary to defend his teammates, he's always in there straight away. That's another trait that you can't go unnoticed. But do you know what? I totally agree, man. The guy demands for the ball. He could be surrounded by players. He drops his shoulder, goes the other way without touching the ball. The ball just rolled past him, and he's got away. And before we've gone into a pressured pressing, he's just gone. And we go on to attack.
Iggy.
I've not seen that in a player in a long, long time. I think.
Do you know Iggy?
I'm not going as far as saying it's Gascoigne, but that dropping a shoulder and going, he was the only one that we had. I remember that could do that. And like I said, the personality. And not only has he brought his game into Spurs, he's also raising the likes of like Højbjerg's game there. And also, to be fair to Højbjerg, man, it's got to be, for him, it's got to be so good to be playing someone alongside like him, because football guys don't underestimate the power of partnerships in a football match and in a pitch. The partnership is everything. You're only as good as the player that you're playing next to or the teammates that you're playing around. Without that, you're not going very far. I don't care how good you are. This guy and it ties perfectly with Kulusevski. They've come in and they've changed our season 180.
100%. Iggy, do you know?
Sorry, boys.
No.
Go on.
Go on, Dave. I'll say it after.
No, sorry. I was just going to say quickly, like with Højbjerg, we were putting a lot of Winks' deficiencies on Højbjerg and asking them questions on Højbjerg. But it wasn't why Højbjerg was brought in the first place. Højbjerg was brought in to be that defensive player in behind Ndombele, to bring that steel to the team. Because when we didn't have him in there, we were just too weak in midfield. We weren't combative enough. We brought Højbjerg in to do that. And then once we didn't have a partner for Højbjerg, we were saying, oh, Højbjerg can't pass ball, Højbjerg can't do this. But it's not the reason why he's in the team. It's like that was on Harry Winks, and we're putting Harry Winks' deficiencies on Højbjerg. And since, and like Iggy said, partnerships. Since Bentancur has come in and he's that ball player, he's that deep line playmaker, if you would like. Højbjerg looks 10 times better, and then when he does receive the ball, he receives it in a lot more space, and he's shown that he can pass it.
Do you know what? As well, it's you're right. It's spot on what you both have said about him, and I think what I've seen more so than anything about him coming in is the calmness that the whole team seem to be, especially in the midfield. The calmness and the confidence that they have has just elevated everyone because of the way that he is and the way he plays football, his mentality. It's kind of raised everyone's game, if you know what I mean. Like if you look, I mean, look at Højbjerg. He obviously, when he's playing with him, he feels so much more confident and he trusts him so much more to allow him to go and do his game. And he just breathes that through the team. You can see the way Højbjerg's playing. He's playing. He's trying things now, first time passes, and he's actually starting attacks as well. It was Højbjerg the one that actually started the attack for the Sun goal where Kulusevski ran down the wing. It was him that started the move, right? It came from defense, and Højbjerg was the one that started it with this one-touch football. And that's because he feels so much more confident in his own ability because of the calmness and the confidence that Bentancur brings. Because Bentancur, the way he drops his shoulder, the last player, Iggy, I think we've seen do that was Moussa Dembele, right? He was the last player.
Yeah. Do you know what? I completely bypassed it, but you're right.
No, yeah, but it's like obviously there were different types of players, but he's got similar traits.
Are any of you worried a little bit though about his? He's so composed on the ball.
Yeah.
So composed in positions that sometimes are dodgy.
He will make mistakes. He will. I know where you're going at, Sean. He will make mistakes.
I love it.
I wouldn't change him. I wouldn't change him.
I agree. Yeah, I just
Sean. If you had the right people around him, you can allow him to do that. You don't want to change him.
Yeah, guys, what I meant by partnerships is where you have two players who have different characteristics. My shortcomings are made up by David's, for example, and vice versa. Together, though, they become complete. Yeah. We are having that at the back. We are now having that in the middle of the park. And we're definitely having that with the three we've spoken about up front. They all complement each other. They all bring something different. But together, they become a unity and a force. And that is what you do. You build partnerships on the field. We've done that right across the middle now. Yeah. I still think we've got much to improve.
This
for
is
sure,
where,
especially with back and certain positions and the creativity going forward from the midfield, i.e. Eriksen, and perhaps you guys may want to talk about Eriksen, but because he's been spoken about in that creativity role. We've not replaced Eriksen. We're talking about bringing him back because to replace the one he's replacing himself essentially. But these are the kind of things that you want to create, and also for the Eriksens and outs, by the way. Eriksen doesn't change up. Where would he fit in that formation? No, it gives us a flexibility to change it around.
Exactly what I said. Iggy.
Plan A doesn't work. You got Plan B. But anyway, that Eriksen's not in this conversation. But I just threw him in there.
This is where the quality comes in, because if you get in the top four, right, you can actually bring in. No one's saying they're going to bring in 50, 60 million pound players, but they're still going to be able to bring in better quality than what we have. Right, that's a fact. That there's players out there you could bring in for a lot less money that can actually improve our team and our squad, right? You bring in just on an example, you bring in another two midfielders, a creative one and a kind of like an engine, you say, right? Then you've got someone like Skip, Højbjerg, Bentancur, and another midfielder to all to compete and play different formations, different tactics against different teams. You could change it within a game. That's what I'm like. You can actually impact the game. You got to remember, we're going to have 5 substitutes next season. So substitutes are going to be so important. Now the top teams are going to.
Really good point. It's a really good point.
they're going to really, really love this now because they're going to be able
bigger teams, isn't it? Yeah,
they're going to,
100%.
of course. So that's why if we get Champions League and they go and back Conte the way that he needs to be backed, and that's not spending £200 million, that's getting his players he wants, right? You go and get a left centre back, another 2 wing backs, for example. You can do all of this for 100 million once you actually sell a couple of players as well. It's doable, right? And there's free transfers out there they could go for as well. There'll be players coming up to the end of their last year of their contract. So there are players they're going to go for that we can actually bring in to actually improve this team. And you go and do that. It gives Conte the options to change things within a match. He could go and bring on 4 players, and 2 of those players could, for example, just completely change the tide of the game.
And if you do smart business, first of all, there's a lot of players going on a free transfer. There's many of them about. If you actually have a good
They're
market.
not free transfers though. I hate this idea that they're free.
No,
It's
free
just
transfers. You're not actually purchasing. You're not buying
From the
directly
club.
from the club.
Yeah,
You're just basically.
yes.
You're
Also,
still paying 80% of the money that you would have paid.
yeah,
It's just
you
going
would
to the
anyway, but
80%.
you would.
Yeah.
And the second thing that goes really under the radar, especially with clubs abroad, you can do a lot of installment payments, so you don't have to have it all in one go. You can spread it over the 4 or 5 year contract and pay installments every season of that contract, which works a lot in Italy. So that's why we go look at Kulusevski, and all those. But you can, and Romero, we're doing it with Romero. It can, so you don't actually hit your budget all in one go.
It's also Iggy, right? Obviously, free agents usually tend to get a signing on fee. Not every player is going to demand. Yeah, of course, but not every player is going to demand a £10 million signing on fee. They're the bigger players, like the top players who want the big contracts, right?
Yeah, Kessie went. That's what happened with
It was like a couple million here and there, right? You spend 3, 4, 5 million on each player you bring in. That's still a lot less on the transfer fee, and then you still give them their contract that they would be given anyway. So you're saving a lot of money by doing that. So I think you'll probably see Tottenham go for a lot of free transfers, like Sam Johnson, for example. He'd be a brilliant signing if we can pull him.
But on that note, we should talk about the goalkeeper. Sorry to cut you off, right? Because I've got loads of stuff that we can talk about in 10 minutes time about the signings, about that sort of thing. I just want to get through the last four names because we start banter calls. Get the last 4 players, and then from there I've got a whole other segment for make the case, and that includes things like signings and goalkeepers and all that shit. Okay, so sorry to cut you off, Bun.
Sean, I was just putting the private chat there. I have to bounce, man. I have to be up early. I have a few things I need to do in the morning. So,
all right, Dave, mate, love you, man. Thanks for stopping by.
I need to bounce as well. I've got a few things to come up.
Everybody, just smash that subscribe on this great channel, guys. Give Shawnee the support. Let's get him to 1K. Come on, you Spurs.
Thanks, mate. I'll put the channel. You're going as well, Brian, eh?
Yeah, I've got to deal with a few things. So I'm in a bounce, but I've got my partner in crime with me here, who will hopefully, Dan, you're going to be with us tonight?
Yeah.
Wicked. We'll catch up after, brother. So yeah, we'll be going live at 10 p.m. UK, 5 p.m. Eastern time. I will speak to you all. Love you all. Love everyone in the chat. And as always, Levy out.
Cheers, Brian.
Cheers, Brian. Love you, mate. Love you. All right, let's crack on, guys. The next one on the list is Hugo Lloris. I'm not even going to get the thing up anymore. There's only a few names left on it. Thanks for the spin. Hugo Lloris, right? How do we feel about Hugo Lloris? I wanted to shame Brian just left because he made the case earlier that Hugo Lloris is someone that's irreplaceable and part of the 3 or 4 names that you don't look to improve on. I can just get up. I don't think he touched the ball apart from the goal, picking the ball out of the back of the net. I'll just double check on that. Yeah, 0 saves, 0 punches. This time he didn't run out at all. Didn't make any claims. He touched the ball 22 times. He only found its man 14 out of those 18 passes. His long ball accuracy is 50%. And of course, the goal that he let in. And this is like the tail of the tape for Hugo since he signed his contract, right? It seems like ever since he signed his contract in mid-January. I love the guy, don't get me wrong. He's been a massive servant for the club. He's a wonderful talent, wonderful player. But is he in the sunset of his career, or is there still time to shine for Hugo Lloris? First of all, talk about his performance on the day, but I then expand on that, on whether or not we've got problems at the back with him. Or is it just a bit of bad form? And we'll start with Kuba. Kuba, I haven't heard much from you for a while, mate.
Well, Hugo, without doubt,
he's sunbathing, mate.
Yeah.
It does look like you're in the sun somewhere.
It looks like
yeah,
sunny Spain.
lights off. top lights off, so I've just got the monitor brightness straight on my face. Yeah, Hugo, he's been an incredible servant for us, no doubt about it. He's been one of the best shot stoppers around anywhere.
Yeah.
But for me, he's not a big goalkeeper. I like to see a big lump in goal who comes out and scares people when he comes to the ball. That's not Lloris. I want a commanding figure in there. That will help out with the fact that the defence aren't great aerially as well. It'll give them a hell of a lot more confidence at the back. His performance against Newcastle, well, do you crucify him for letting in the goal softly? It's harsh, but I mean, that is what he's there to do, isn't it? So you've got to judge him on what they're there on the field for. And that was a pretty poor save, that attempt at a save. On the ball, he didn't look great either. I thought he was a bit of a 5 out of 10 performance. It was far from classic Hugo. But it wasn't disastrous, obviously, because we won the game easily, but he didn't really cover himself in glory this time.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was. Well, what's your score out of 10? Sorry,
5 out of 10.
5 out of 10. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I certainly wouldn't go any higher than that. If anything, I'd give it a 4. Like, he had one thing to do.
Yeah, I wouldn't argue with that.
Yeah, I gave him a 5 the other day on another channel, and I think it was our one actually.
some other channel, whatever.
Some other channel, Shelfside Spurs or whatever that is. I think I gave him a 5 as well, and I think there was, like you said, there was nothing really you could say. Sean, you're right. You could probably go to 4.
Do you know what? Right, Hugo, statistically wise.
Is there an echo, guys? Can anyone else hear
I can hear myself as well.
I can hear it.
Someone.
Statistics wise, Hugo still is a top goalkeeper in the Premier League. His stats are actually better than Mendy's.
Still there.
Alan, have you just come off of mute? Have you got the double
I've
mic?
just come off mute.
You might have double mics. You might have your like mic in your headset and your mic on your computer live or something. I'm not sure.
He might have his speaker playing through his speaker, not his headset.
Oh, that's right. Well, it sounds like it's gone now.
Yeah,
sounds like it's gone now. Yeah, we're okay now.
Yeah, no, what I'm saying, statistically wise, in the Premiership, he's still like a really high performing goalkeeper. His stats are actually better than Mendy's. So I still rate him as a goalkeeper. Do I think we ought to be looking at a new goalkeeper in the same characteristics that Kuba just said? 100% would agree with that, because we need to start looking at that situation. However, when he's improved definitely this season, certainly since Conte's come, is aerial in the sense that he does come out and collect the balls. I think he took a real rollicking after the Burnley one really hits me like in the head still to this day, with the trajectory of the ball. He could have came out and helped Romero out. Instead, he kind of stayed where he was and watched the striker out jump Romero for that header that ultimately led to the winning goal. For me, there are shortcomings, and I do think in that situation, from a free kick going to the Newcastle game, from that free kick where if you relook at it back, we set up the wall the way Lloris wanted it, and then in his line of view, in his straight line of view, Wood grabbed himself and he put himself in his line of view, and he grabbed his teammate. And he kept looking over to see where Lloris was. And he thought, well, I'm standing here. And I felt upon seeing that, I think the move should have been to put a Spurs player in front of that, or certainly not let that ball go through there. But he kind of didn't do anything in that manner. So by the time he got to see it, it was too late. He'd already dived. He tried to get a hand on it. The ball was in the back of the net. These are where I feel that there's a lack of, I don't know if it's communication, it's just presence. Because if there's nothing worse than the keeper going at you, saying, get that fucking wall sorted out, and really going out. I feel sometimes that's where he lacks. And that's to do just simply with character and presence.
He's not going to learn that now, is Ziggy? At 37?
No, he's not going to learn that now, which is why, for me, whilst he's still a very good goalkeeper and he's still got a really good couple of years ahead of him, we should start now really identifying. I don't know if Sam Johnson, as Danny said earlier on, is the person. I don't know. I don't know much about it. Maybe you guys can enlighten me.
He's got a 70% over the last 6 years of his tenure at West Brom. He's got a 70% shot stopping success rate, right? So, or 65, like I think it was like 75%, something like that. So for every 4 shots that are on target. Oh, sorry, it's 80%. Sorry, my bad. 80%. So for every 5 shots that are hit against him that are on target, he lets one of them in.
The
Right,
question begs, why is he playing? The question begs two. One is 29 years old.
Yeah, he's not young.
And that's something that has to be, although relative for a goalkeeper, is not too old. But secondly, why is he still at West Brom? Why is he not being snapped up and playing in the Premier League for longer than that? I don't know. Just those two questions immediately, or certainly one, why has he been at West Brom all this time? Certainly springs to my mind. By the way, hello.
Yeah. So
sorry, how you doing, guys? Mark, how you doing, Mr. Kaufman?
Good evening. Right, Ben.
Haven't had a break in the play yet to say hello to the guys. Hi, boys. How you doing?
I'm alive. How are you boys doing?
You got a haircut there, Ben?
Yeah, I had it. I was laying on the grass one day when it was sunny and a lawnmower hit me. It was a real problem.
That hat looks too big for you now, man.
It does. I actually quite like it.
Yeah, nice. How are you, Mark?
Very well, Sean. How are you?
Good, mate. Good. Just been tucking into a nice one of your Somerset ciders, which has been
beautiful.
Very well enjoyed.
And now you can't hear my telly, can you? Because I got Chelsea and Real Madrid on.
No, can't hear it.
About that.
No.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I don't want you getting done for copyright or nothing.
No, that's all good, mate. It's all good. All right, so we all agreed then that Hugo Lloris is like a 4 or 5, like disappointing game. He had one thing to do.
He didn't. He just didn't get his hand to it. I mean, many times we've seen it before of Lloris where it's like he gets his hand to it, but it's not strong enough. His wrist isn't strong enough to hold the ball out, and it's like he should have stopped that goal. He should have stopped it because it hit his hand. It just went straight through it.
He saw it later, Dan. It was too hard of a shot, and it was literally this close, and you can't stop them when you see them so late. You have to see it coming from a bit further out. But For's harsh, guys. I have to defend him.
No,
I have to. It didn't cost us a result, and ultimately that is the only thing he had to do. I would still give him a generous 6, I have to say, but I wouldn't give him a
6.
Mate, we went on to win 5.
Get out.
Sean, we went on to win 5-1. How can we slam our goalkeeper, give him a 4? We give the likes of Emerson a 6.5. Do you know what I mean? Come on, man.
Iggy, you never had nothing else.
I want to say something, right? I want to say something, right? Hugo Lloris, right? As much we all know that he has patches during most seasons, right? Most of the time he's been at Tottenham, he's had patches of bad form, right? But overall, he is by far one of the best keepers in our history, right? Let's get that right, right? Behind Pat Jennings, I would say he's probably our best keeper we've ever had, right? I think that's my opinion, right? Because he is a top class keeper, and I tell you this right now, when he leaves, I guarantee if we don't get another top class keeper, we're going to have problems at that back. We're going to go through, and I just pray that we don't go through like what other top teams have had when their top keepers have left and they've struggled to get good replacements. It's taken Chelsea years to get a good replacement. I know they had Courtois and everything.
It took De Gea. I mean, they stuck by De Gea at United, but De Gea for the first 2 or 3 years was
awful. Yeah, exactly.
As hell, wasn't
it?
But
look at Arsenal. They've had apart since they've had Ramsdale. Ramsdale, he's showing good signs at the moment, but since then they've had they haven't really had a great keepers. Really, Martinez was probably their best keeper, and they fucking sold him.
Danny, take a chill pill. Look, when Ray Clements retired, we got Bobby Mims. It was fine.
What's his name?
Ray Clements. Ray Clements.
Yeah.
Who did we replace Bobby Mims with? It was the American goalkeeper. Who did we replace him? He was brilliant. Oh, Neil Sullivan. He was also a great goalkeeper.
Eric Torsvet.
Big Eric.
He was good.
Espen Barson is my favourite. I love that.
He was good.
Look. Ian Walker. What a brilliant goalkeeper he was.
No.
Casey Keller.
No, look, Sam Johnston, right? He'll be a good signing for a free transfer, essentially, right? He would be like he's better than Galini, so he'd be straight away. He's better than our current backup, right? And we don't have to pay. We just have to pay him a small signing on fee and wages. That's it, right?
Yeah.
The Lloris. Right, they are looking. They're looking right now for long term in terms of Lloris. That's what I believe, and I think Lloris said it himself when he signed his contract that he wants to help the club to find the next replacement. So if he can help the club do that, then they've got a chance of getting someone decent in after he departs. Right? If you look at it, right, and this is now there are some keepers out there that we could realistically go for, And it all depends on whether we if we compete for the title next year, or if we get in the top 4 this season and we get the players we want. I reckon we're competing for the title next year. I don't doubt that at all. Call me Dulid, whatever. That's what I think will happen.
Yeah.
And I think if we can end the season after that in a top 4 position, then we could go and get a very good goalkeeper the season after. Now, there's a Real Madrid squad.
Yes.
No, it's just a great comment, Danny.
He's loving it, Danny. Mark Cousins, step away from Danny Kiriakou, please. You leave him alone. He's mine.
Sorry.
No, like, yeah. Look, there's a keeper like Jan Oblak. He's going to be a free transfer the year after next. So they could start speaking to him right now. Paratici, he loves doing this shit where he works on players long time in advance. So he could be in his ear if we get Champions League this year and say, look, don't sign a new contract. We'll offer you this, and this to come and play in the Premier League for Tottenham or whatever. And it could be a good opportunity for someone like him. Could you imagine me replace Lloris with Oblak? Now I know Oblak he's 29 right now. But I reckon he still have another 3, 4, 5 years at top level. And he'd be a top keeper to bring in as a replacement for the next like 5 years or so.
Danny,
there's options.
I know a keeper that ain't playing much at the moment. He's really good.
Yeah, I know.
Won us the Euros.
But the thing is,
the Italian goalkeeper from the Euros, the 6'8" guy, the guy who said, "Yeah,
Donnarumma,
Donnarumma,
yeah. The thing is,
he's insane. I love that guy.
He would be my dream signing, right? But the thing is, it's his wages. We're never gonna
get him on loan. We don't have to buy him. Get him on loan. Real Madrid, PSG's not playing him. They've got Navas. They're not really interested in playing him. Get him on loan for a couple of seasons.
He's an idiot for going there. We should have snapped him up when we had.
He's so good.
Yeah,
and he's the sort of player that's commanding, right? 6'8".
That's the player that Kuva's referring to. That sort of or the ideology of the goalkeeper.
He'd be my dream signing, man. That's like a FIFA signing right there. Fucking Donnarumma.
Who knows? Watch the space.
The big question though, Kuva. The big question, Dan. Would you dump Barry for Donnarumma?
Bloody hell.
Barry. You're next door neighbour.
I was just about to go to the kids to bed and I heard my name and Danny dumping me and I had to come back quickly.
Barry's always number one.
Barry came running back, toilet paper between cheeks.
Yeah. And a bit more toilet paper somewhere else as well, no doubt.
Sean, you're only jealous.
There are children watching us.
It's more that's that. It's
2-0.
2-0.
2-0.
Benzema, right?
Benzema.
Yeah.
This is when Danny makes a good comment, and then Mark says, "Yes, Danny, great comment again. Love your commenting tonight, Danny."
All right, so listen, let's move on. We've got 3 players left to talk about. This is supposed to take an hour. It's taken 2 hours.
I'll give them 8 and move on.
Ben, Matt Doherty. I'll start with you, Ben. I'll get the notes up. I've got to go through these things. Because this is part of the show. It's all part of the thing. So where am I up to? Matt Doherty. What are your thoughts, man? How did he? Because I thought he should have been a man of the match contender. Not many people agreed with me. But I think his stats are fantastic. The fact that he played on the left as well, out of position, and did everything he did. But I'm not going to take your mantle, mate. Ben, describe to me how Matt Doherty played and what would you give him as a score out of 10?
I will put my hands up because I didn't actually see the full game because I had something else to do that day, unfortunately. But for Matt Doherty is having a renaissance of form. So the fact that he's playing so well and he's playing well in a position we were having heart attacks over, firstly, it's a testament of how good this football manager is because he's getting the best out of Matt Doherty. But it's a big thing for Matt Doherty. Like a lot of us were saying, we're going to sell him this year. We're going to keep Emerson and sell Doherty. It's the other way around now. We keep Doherty and sell Emerson. Matt Doherty has shown that he's an awesome player for us if he's played in the right position and he's given the time. And he's allowed to play in a system that allows him to flourish. And left wing back or right wing back, he's now flourishing. He's getting goals. He's getting assists.
This stat's not right, is it? He scored the goal, but he was the assist for the Emerson Royale. So SofaScore is wrong because I've got him
No,
zero
no.
assists.
No,
If
no,
you
Ali
listen,
Gold
if you
was on
listen
about
to
that.
Ali, yeah, Ali Gold was basically saying that for some reason Opta they didn't class his assist as an assist, and they were trying to find out why. But they analyzed, loads of people analyzed it, and they couldn't see why it wasn't deemed as assist. So they don't know whether it was a mistake or whether there's an actual reason. So they're trying to find out exactly why. But I don't know why he wasn't given the assist. This is weird.
For me, like he's got a 7.6 here when the assist not given, but it wasn't just the assist for Emerson Royale's goal. He was in the perfect position for Sonny's goal when Kulu knocked it across. He should have taken that and scored it himself, but Sonny took it. I haven't got a problem with Sonny taking that because it's his job. But there was a second goal on a plate for him there. Plus, also the first goal, the corner that led to the first goal started when Lloris pinged like a 40-yard ball that was a volley, a half volley, and it was going straight out into touch. And Doherty just stuck his left ankle up, and it just glanced off of it and sent Sonny all the way through, which then led to the corner, which then led to the goal. So I don't know how far back the key passes have to start for it to be considered a key pass. But I think these stats are unnecessarily harsh on Doherty. And despite the fact that they're not including certain things, they still gave him a 7.6. For me, I thought he was and you got like the fact that he's a right wing back and he's been asked because he's a good guy, he's been asked to play completely on the other side of the pitch. I think that gives him an extra point anyway.
Yeah,
he did so much. You think 8.6 for you? So it's almost a 9, yeah, Ben?
Yeah, it's almost a perfect performance by him. And he's been brilliant the last few weeks. He's not really put a foot wrong in the last 3 or 4 weeks. And it's brilliant to see. It means it's one less problem we have to replace in the new year.
Yeah.
So we can put that money towards someone else.
All right. We'll move on from him. And we'll go to the next guy who we haven't spoken about.
Very quickly about him. The fact that Sonny was playing that well and then Doherty still managed to add to the threat on the left wing.
Yeah,
that speaks volumes.
Yeah,
I think what's key is that as the wing backs now, I'm not Emerson, but as a whole, they're starting to play the way Conte wants them to play, which is the base. Essentially, what they're doing is when they're defending, there's 5 of them defending at the back. When they're attacking, there's 5 of them attacking going forward, right? So they're putting so much pressure on teams when they're attacking that they're creating a lot more opportunities to score, and that's coming from different venues, which is obviously what he likes is having the wing backs basically playing with each other and crossing the ball to each other and assisting, etc., right? But by putting more balls in bodies into the box, they've got more. Like statistically, you've got a better chance of scoring a goal if you've got more players in the box, and if you're defending as well, you've got a better chance of not conceding a goal because you've got more players behind the ball, and that's literally the way that Conte wants them to play, right? And if you look at it, if you see that the wing backs are so high up the pitch, they actually, they were playing as basically strikers, like they were like as if they're like playing off the striker, and that's how much they kind of were suffocating Newcastle, and that's why we look so destructive over them in the second half.
Right.
Is that how we're breaking down? Is that how we're breaking down this low block?
Yeah, 100%, 100%.
Throwing more bodies up.
Yeah, because what they're doing is they're creating more problems for the defenders to defend against, and by when you're doing that, it's not just the wing backs that are getting into the box. You've got other players who are kind of getting more involved in the attacking play, right? And you can see that. And we've scored 21 goals in the last 5 Premier League matches or something like that. Something ridiculous. Or in the last wins that we've had in the Premier League, we've scored like 21 goals. And that's just insane amount of numbers. And it's because of the way we're playing and the way that the wing backs are starting to play the way that Conte's told them he wants them to play. And Doherty has been brilliant. Like we have to be honest. He has been brilliant. And I think, like Ben said, if anyone were going to sell anyone, it probably will be Emerson. And I actually think Emerson is leaving in the summer. I 100% believe that. I think he's gone. I think Emerson's done. Same. I think Doherty has got and if you listen to what Doherty said in an interview right after the game, it was brilliant the shit that he was saying. And
after the Newcastle game.
I can't remember if it was after the Newcastle game or it was before, but it was basically he was Ali Gold kind of touched into the interview of what he basically was saying, right? And he was basically saying about how he felt the trust and the confidence that Conte has given into him. It's made him be a lot feel more confident in himself, and also the formation has helped the way that he's playing. And he just, when he gets on the pitch now, he feels confident. He feels like he's now starting to show the form he had at Wolves, which was he was best when he was getting into the box, right? And he was scoring goals, he was assisting, and I think we're seeing that now of Doherty. And I think a Conte system, Doherty, when Conte came in, we all thought he could be the player that can improve more than anyone because he's perfect for a Conte system, right? Yeah. And it's showing. Conte himself has said the most improved player at Tottenham since he's come in is Matt Doherty. And it's showing now. And he also mentioned, how Doherty mentioned, he goes, how all the players have improved slightly. Like certain aspects of their game have improved under Conte, and Doherty's really focused on the nutritional side of things as well, right? What he's eating, what he's doing, and all this kind of stuff, and it's really helping the way he's playing. And he said that he goes, all the players are so excited to see what Conte can do in a pre-season, because he said the one thing he said was that he is that they haven't seen the best of all of them yet, because Conte hasn't even been here a whole season yet. So he goes, he was basically saying, can you imagine what Doherty was saying, can you imagine what our mentality and what we'll be like if we have a full preseason under Conte with also additions of Conte players, more Conte players? I'm actually excited by Doherty, and I really hope.
I'm gonna listen. I'm respect to the player, respect for his work rate and professionality, and everything you want to say.
Not good enough.
But if our ambition is to go where Conte wants to go, we need better.
Yeah, of course we do. But
better.
Iggy,
I respect him. I really do. I think he's working his ass off, and I can't fault the player for that. I've got nothing against him per se. I just think that we need next level player.
So Iggy, can I just add to that, Sean?
Yeah, go on.
Really quickly. Sorry, very, very quickly. Right, we all know we need better. Right, that's a given. Doherty, Sessegnon, Reguilon, and Emerson all need to be replaced. Right. But I'm talking about
all four replaced.
They all need to be replaced, all of them, right? I'm honest. They all need to be replaced. The only one I would keep out of them, and it's hard to say because I actually think Sessegnon's got the most potential out of all of them, but he's injury prone, right? So that's why I'm starting to think: are we gonna actually get actually see the potential out of Sessegnon because he's always going to be injured, right? Maybe not. So essentially, right now, as it stands, we probably need to replace all of them, but we're not going to do that in the summer, right? So you have to look at what we have. And right now, Doherty is doing a good job.
Right? You'd replace Emerson. You'd replace Emerson before you replace Doherty. I agree with Iggy that eventually you've still got to replace Doherty.
Someone better than better, right?
Doherty, the only thing I'll salvage for Doherty is the fact that I would probably keep him in the squad because, like I said, he's a great pro. It looks like he's a great lad, and Conte clearly likes him. And the fact that he could cover both fullbacks position should we need it. But for the ambition that I have for Spurs in my mind, in my heart, and the way our manager wants him to do it, we need that. I think that's the areas that we definitely need.
You replace Emerson first, though, Iggy.
Yeah, for sure. That we can all agree with. But I think it's that wing backs are so important for Conte, and we need the level of Kulusevski, Kane, Son, Romero. We need that level as wing backs.
And you think
Jump
in, Ben. Come on.
With Doherty, he offers something very different. If you're up against it and you need a goal, Doherty's perfect because he's a massive lad. He's very difficult. You just basically play him as a second striker.
He bundles his way through, doesn't he?
He's a bulldozer, and you do need that in a team.
But okay, so fuck off the last three. This is a good talking point because I did have the wing backs. We'll skip forward to the wing backs. Fuck the rest. We'll come back to them maybe. Whatever. See what happens. But so the wing back situation. Let's segue into this right now straight away. So if we all agree that Emerson's not it, right? He was bought as a right back. He hasn't adapted to right wing back. You know, if Conte fucks off and we get someone who plays in the back four, maybe Emerson Royale could be, someone that would be a good player, but not right now. So therefore, we have to move with the times. So if Emerson's out first, and then ideally, if take Iggy's point on, we want two right backs that are better than both that we have. Is Jed Spence? Who's got whoever's got that commentary on? I can hear it in the background. Just be careful, please.
Sorry.
Mark.
Bloody hell, Mark.
Sorry.
So is Jed, like, I know you said at the start, Jed Spence, right? I know Dave's a massive fan of him. Jack Kanicki's a huge fan of him. I've just seen his highlight reel and what he's done in the FA Cup, and I thought he was good. But are we aiming high enough? If we want someone that's going to take us on to the Kulusevski level and the Sonny and the Kane level in our right back spot, is Jed Spence it? Or do we go and find someone who's tried and tested and who's going to cost 30 million, but he's a 25-year-old, but he's playing in, like, who's the guy? I've got what's
Question.
the
Is Mazraoui
Lima, whatever his name is.
Yes, him. Lima, the Leipzig right wing back. He is fucking brilliant. He plays all across the pitch, right?
Yeah.
All positions. He's a very, very versatile player, and he's consistent. He's very consistent. But he's a great crossover ball. He scores goals. He scored 2 goals against Dortmund the other night when they battered them 4-1. I think they battered them 4-1 the other day.
Mate, I ain't even gonna try and blag this one. I don't know him well.
Lima is he'd be a great option, and I think how old is he? He might be a bit older.
24.
Oh, he's 24.
He scored 5 goals this season in 32 matches, or give or take 31 matches across the Champions League, Europa League, Bundesliga, and the DFB Pokal, whatever that is, must be a cup. 24, he's 6 foot tall, give or just a little bit, 5'11". He is a versatile player. He plays for Austria, does well for Austria as well.
There's a lot. He's a perfect type of Conte player because he's a hard worker. He works hard. He fights. He's not slow. I'd say he's kind of a bit like a Kulusevski speed, but look, he'd be a good option. But we have to look. There's so many right wing backs out there that we don't know of and that are playing really well in other leagues. If you look at stats wise, there's some great options out there, but it's about whether or not they have to get the right player with the right mentality. That's it. If they get the player with the right mentality, that's all they need. They need a player with good ability, but I'm sure I trust Paratici and Conte to get the right player in. So
Alan, you came out with a name just then, didn't you? Did I hear you say a name?
It's Hakimi. Is it from PSV? Apparently,
we won't get him, man. We won't get him. He's too far to. He's a great player, Alan. Don't get me wrong. You've got a good eye. I'll give you that. But my God, didn't he leave to go from Inter for 50-odd million or something like that?
60 million.
Yeah, we won't spend that money to get him.
The thing is,
Is Mazraoui going to Barcelona?
Yeah,
it's not confirmed yet.
The thing is,
I mean, that's the type of player we need, a Mazraoui.
That's who I want, Mazraoui, but he's going to be gone.
Yeah.
The thing with PSV, thing with PSV is because they're a little bit like Man City. I don't think they need to worry too much about what money they bring back for a player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They can take a loss because their money they own. I mean,
but I don't think they need to sell him.
You tell me a Man City player that's gone out the door that's cost a fortune.
Yeah. No. Listen. I completely understand what you're saying. I don't think they're gonna deprive themselves of somebody that's first of all he's a regular there. He's doing really well there. He's settled at that club. I just don't see that happening. But I like the ideology of the player that you're looking for.
I thought I heard he wanted out. I thought I heard he wanted out.
Listen, it's news to me. But do you know what? If that's the kind of player that we need to attract, but Alan, it all ties in us getting Champions League football.
Yeah.
That is why it's so pivotal that we get there because we can attract the best. What's happening?
Chelsea have scored. Chelsea have scored.
I thought. If you really don't want Hakimi, if you don't want Champions League football, we'll make do in Europa. What can I say?
Amigo. I was going to say there's plenty of talented wing backs out there if you're prepared to wait with a few of them. There's the Eredivisie is always a hotbed of really great talent because of the way they bring them up through the likes of Ajax and PSV.
Do we want to sign? Do we want to sign? Kids that are not proven, or do we want to? It's such a key. Like to Iggy's point, right? The wing backs are such key positions. If we've got 150 million quid to spend, why? You know, you said Hakimi. Oh, we won't get him. It will cost 50 million.
Sean, I'm going to tell you one thing, right?
Like, is that a problem? Like 50
Sean,
million? Do it.
I'm going to tell you one thing, right? No matter what happens, when Emerson leaves this club, they are not going to sign a player over 25 years old for that right wing back. I can guarantee you that for a fact, right? Because if they've got Doherty, who's 30 odd years old, right, they're not going to go and sign a 28-year-old or 29-year-old. It's not happening, right? They're going to sign someone for the future. That's exactly what they're going to do. But they're going to sign a prospect, right? Someone who's actually quite good now, but has got potential to be even better. They're not going to go for an already made right wing back. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. It could be a Lima. Lima is a good player now, but could he get even better? He could do under a Conte, right? But it'll be someone under 25 years old. So you have to look at players who they can get under 30 million pounds for under 25. That's the target. That's what they're going to spend on a right wing back. I guarantee you.
The problem is, right? I think we're getting a little bit.
You need to get the guy Jones, who put it in the chat. The Soul Taker said Jones middle. He's awesome. That kid.
Yeah. Jones is a good player, and obviously the other guy that's out on loan is a good player as well. The problem is that I worry about is that for the last 2-3 years, we've gone and spent 25-30 million pounds here, there, and everywhere on should be the next hot thing, and none of them have worked out. Yep. Suddenly we're getting a little bit cocky because our last 2 signings have been worldies that were relatively cheap in Kulusevski and Bentancur. But if we go back to the 25 million pound, budget level, and these kids, Emerson was one of those, right? Brian Hill was one of those. So there's how many others?
Do you know what killed me, Sean, is, and Ellie's put in a comment there, Dumfries, Inter bought him for 12 million. 12 million, and we didn't want to spend the money to go and get him, but we're happy to spend 30 on getting Emerson in. It's mind-blowing. And he's been a brilliant signing for them and a decent replacement for Hakimi. So it's sometimes, look, it's just about acting early. I think if we manage to identify the players now, so as soon as the market opens, we go and snap them up. That's the idea. So then they have a full pre-season with our team. And I don't know
who's Denzel Dumfries? Who's he played for?
He's a wing back for Inter Milan. He was the replacement. He's a Dutch international who replaced Hakimi. So not only did they sold Hakimi top dollar to PSG, but they managed to get this guy in, which was half of Europe was after him for 12 million, and we was banging on about getting him because it was the price and quality was perfect. And we didn't go for him, and we started, talking about Traore. Then we got Emerson ultimately in the end. But it's just, it's just. I think if we can.
That's an interesting one. Would you go back for Traore? He hasn't. But Barcelona haven't got the money, right? They can't. They're not going to sign him on the permanent. So all that, I guess he turned us down for them.
Yeah,
but
you know what? A lot of people begrudge the fact that he turned us down for them and say, you know what? If you turned us down, I'm personally fine with it because I understand why Traore wanted to go back. He was in the academy for 9 years. He
it's Barcelona.
Barcelona. Come on, man.
Unless you have an affinity to Tottenham,
exactly. And he was going back home. Back to Spain. So I kind of get that. It didn't work out. If the opportunity arose and we get a good deal for him, why not? Why not go for him?
But I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he's got the physique to play right wing back. Like the amount of running, the amount of sprints you have to do, the amount of.
But he did it didn't he not do it for Wolves? I think he played in that sort of role.
It was more of like in the Kulusevski. He's more playing in the kind of, But also, I don't think he did play right wing back really.
I've got one I've had in mind for a while now, but because he's entirely affordable, and he's being underutilized. But he's an Ajax. It's Divine Wrench. He's about 6'2". He can
Divine Wrench.
Yeah,
what a name! He's better than a screwdriver. He's better than any other tool in your toolbox. This guy is the Divine Wrench.
But this bloke. This bloke can dribble, he can cross, he can score goals.
Yeah, he's
He's
very
good in the air. He can play
With
all
a
the way
name like that, he's got to be able to do all those things.
You got a cabinet needs to be done.
Greatest tool in anybody's
Divine
toolbox.
Wrench, talk to me.
Kuba.
I'll
you made
sign
that
him
name
just for
up?
that.
Kuba, this
Oh,
guy Wrench, right? Yeah, he's 18 years old, right? I watch Ajax
Oh,
like
wow.
pretty much
He's
most of the
19
time.
now, I think, but yeah, go on.
Well, yeah, he just turned 19 recently, right?
Who's this?
But-
Divine Wrench.
Yeah.
Is
so
that a real
he-
name?
I fucking love that name.
Divine Wrench.
Yeah,
I'm going to look him up. I will look him up.
Yeah, and yeah, this kid, right? He if no one snaps him up in the next year or so, I tell you, he's going to be a top team if he keeps progressing the way he's been progressing. He is a very, very good player.
How do you spell his name?
It's like Wrench.
R-E-N-S-C-H.
SCH. It's pronounced like Wrench.
R-E-N. Oh, okay. Okay. R-E-N-S-C-H.
That is a real name, yeah?
Yeah.
It goes back to my
making a
point. We should
player
sign
up
a
for the hell
player.
of
I'm the sort of guy that would sign Sven
Divine.
Botman so he can sing the
pronounced like
Batman
Divine.
theme song.
It's like it's pronounced like Divine. Divine Wrench.
I love it.
That's how it's kind of
Get him
pronounced.
in. Get him in.
He
You know what?
fixes your cabinets,
Botman-
he fixes
Sven-
your shelves.
Can you imagine the songs? Can you imagine the songs we'll make up about that guy?
Oh, awesome. You know what? Sven Botman
One
has
minute.
been described as like the next best thing to like Slam. Yep, Slam.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
how
I
I've
mean,
been
is he
hearing.
Botman's left side of centre
Yeah.
back,
Could
isn't
you imagine his name in a crowd? I mean, that's Botman.
Oh,
Yeah, but
the
it's
Tottenham fans
Jellicus.
would love him.
I want him just for that.
Yeah.
Mate,
same,
there'll be
same.
people in the crowd with a Batman costume on.
Iggy, I don't want to know what you get up to at the weekends, mate. Wearing
Only on
costumes.
Saturday nights only. Only on Saturday nights.
All right, I'm
he has it
there.
with
I'm there.
pineapple pizza.
You need someone that's really tall and lanky so they can be Robin.
Right, Barry is very tall guy. He's a very he actually shot. He's surprised. The first time I met him, it's the first thing. Mind you, Sean is not too.
Sean's taller than me.
He ain't a
Sean's
small
tall.
fella either. I was
Sean's
shocked, but don't get me wrong. How the hell would you know how tall people are when they're sitting down like us? But when you see them in person, Barry and Sean were like, I was like,
How tall
damn,
are you,
guys.
I don't
What's
know.
that,
Barry,
mate?
you're 6 foot, are you? Yeah, I'm 6'1".
I know you're 6'2", Sean. So I know why you asked that question. So it's fine.
Yeah. Just making sure we know. Just making sure we know in what
Every
order.
inch counts. Yeah.
Will
God.
Stewart's like 6'5".
Me and the
isn't he, or
bun
something?
being the short guys we are. We're just short.
Yeah.
All right,
yeah,
guys.
well.
Let me switch the speed. Okay,
Guys, before you do that, I'm gonna shoot off, man. I've got to shoot.
Love you, man. Thank you for stopping
Listen,
by. bro.
thanks, guys. Thanks for having me on, Sean. Guys, have a good evening, and everyone in the chat.
Wait,
I
before
will
you go, talk about your channel, mate. Because
Yes, Tottenham away. We will be with United Spurs of America. What's today? Is it? Yeah, we'll be there Friday. So Friday evening we will be on, and then back again after the weekend action. Of course, we'll be discussing the game during the weekend, but we will be back on a Monday night pod at 8:30 Tottenham away. So, guys, feel free to give us a follow, like, subscribe. You know the rest, guys. But have a brilliant end of the show, guys, and I will see you soon. I'll speak to you all soon.
Big up, Iggy.
Thank you, guys. Have a great night.
Guys, please just go for the 36 people that are still watching. Would love it if you could just go and just click on that link for 2 seconds and smash the subscribe button over on Tottenham Away, Iggy's channel. He's a great dude, brings so much energy, and love him to pieces. He made his debut. Please, if you haven't already, go over there and hit the subscribe button. I'm going to be sharing the rest of the channels out in a short minute. But, ladies and gentlemen, we're not even going to get back to the. I've never seen the fucking player ratings take 2 hours before. It was insane, and we still had 3 players left to get through. This is what happens.
Chaos again.
Right, we're going to move to side of the game. Oh, he's coming on, ladies and gentlemen. This man deserves a doorbell.
Doorbell.
Ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure who it could be because I've never seen him before in these parts. It's the man, the myth, the legend. He's making his debut, and I'm delighted to welcome him in. Please, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for he is the ultimate saint of the community after everything he's gone through. Welcome everybody to the team. It's Bob Spur.
Yo, yo, yo.
How are you, my
Budget
friend?
TV.
Almost
Big
got
up.
him with the wrong thing. Here we go. Let's bring him back in. Just say
Oh,
hello.
it's
to
the,
him.
it's the
Big up,
original
big up.
budget.
Here he is.
How
The main
are you
man.
guys?
Again.
Good, mate. How you doing?
Good, Rory. How are you?
Yeah, good. A lot of football, man. A lot of football on.
Yeah, I can't. I'm not seeing it because I'm sharing my screen on the StreamYard. I think Sky Go kicks me out. So, but apparently we're missing a good game.
Yeah, 2-2 Burnley Everton and 2-1 Chelsea 2-1 down at home against
I've already
Madrid.
been told off.
I love
Yeah.
it. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what I want though. Do I want Chelsea to get kicked out of the Champions League yet?
Yeah.
No, because
No, I
then they're going to focus on their champion on
I
qualifying.
just want them to lose every game all the time.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah,
If they can lose the last 9 games, it'd be really nice.
it'll be fantastic.
It would be nice, wouldn't it?
Imagine, can you imagine if like Tottenham and Wolves went on the run of all runs and Man United, Arsenal, and Chelsea collapsed, and then third and fourth was Tottenham and Wolves, and we had no West Ham, no United, no Chelsea. It would be just fucking brilliant, wouldn't it? It'd be absolutely superb.
If
Right.
Carlsberg did league.
Yeah, if Carlsberg did end the seasons.
Yeah.
Right, I'm going to bring back the thing here. I'm going to add. Hang on 1 second. Let me add. Who just left? Who left? Iggy left. So I'm putting Bob in
left.
instead. All right. So on this game, but before we get there, I've got to break it up for the purposes of segmentation for later on. This game, ladies and gentlemen, is called Make the Case. Make the case. Simple game. We pick someone from the Wheel of Fortune, and then we pick them to make a case for certain things. Basically, what we've already been doing, but I just like to segment it for the purposes of cutting the sharp later on. Right, we're going to start off by working out who's going to be playing.
Benjamin
Coffey.
There will always be a case for Galini to start.
No, this one is there's not too many options on here. We're going to see what's on there.
Dum.
All right, that's supposed to say Martinez.
Who?
Martinez, Dybala, Depay, or anyone else. Make the case for the next man to step up to the offensive line at Tottenham in the summer, Ben. And after that, he goes around the house. Anyone can jump in and kind of and critique Ben's options. But would you rather have Martinez, Dybala, Depay, or if there's somebody else out there that you think is a reasonable option, mate, that we can bring in to add to the offensive options for next season? Who would they be? Go for it.
Okay. So in this situation, I would I would sign Paulo Dybala on a free. Most importantly, because we need those extra funds to sign wing backs. That's the most important thing to sign in the summer. And we should be diverting the bigger amount of funds should be going towards wing backs. I also want Paulo Dybala because he's got star power going forward. Martinez might not work in the Premier League in terms of going against which he probably would, to be honest. But I think Dybala would suit the Premier League more with Kane because he's quicker than Martinez from what I can see, and he's a better finisher than Martinez. Martinez can obviously learn this in the future, but Dybala's doing it now. And I think if we want to rest Sonny, which we are going to have to do next season, if we're going to do a sustained push and we're going to drop some of the FA Cups and the lesser competitions, Dybala's your guy because he's brilliant against low blocks, which he's incredibly good at. He's not going to start every game because of his injury record, and we need to protect his injuries, which is why he would possibly be more of a bench player, more of an impact player until he gets those injury niggles sorted out. And most importantly, I think him and Kane would be fantastic together. He's brilliant at being, you remember the sort of the Jermaine Defoe style runs, being on the last shoulder. Dybala's brilliant at that, whereas Martinez is more of a player that works well linking up with a player, being really close to his number 9. Which is why it worked really well at Inter with Lukaku. So I think Dybala would be a better player, and I think it would allow it'd be a more fluid team if we were going to play against a Burnley and we needed a bit more of a fluid formation, which he suits that. But the most important reason is we need 80 million for Martinez is a lot of money, and we need to be spending.
Is that how much he's going to cost? Is it?
That's how much, because he signed a new contract as well, and that's what they wanted for him last season.
Okay.
So it might even be more than 80 million.
What an answer, mate. Very well-rounded answer. I like that.
Yeah.
So we need to be spending out on fullbacks because we cannot continue next season with Emerson and Winks in the team. Those two have got to go. So we've got to buy another midfielder and we've got to buy another right wing back. That's why I would personally go with Paulo Dybala, because it would be better for the team to spend the funds elsewhere.
Love it. Who wants to challenge that? Anyone got a different answer?
Only one part, and that's about playing against Burnley. I think to play against Burnley, you need a cattle prod and a can of mace.
the only thing, I think the word free, because it's a free transfer, it's going to, if anything, if there's one word that makes Levy jizz his pants, it's the word free. So I think that's obviously going to be appealing to him. The only reason I'm not 100% sold on Dybala is because of Iggy. And Iggy, obviously, we all know, is the fountain of knowledge when it comes to Italian football. And he says he misses too many games, he's in and out, and he will be that, Bobby Big Bollocks when he comes into the yeah. So for me, and I've said this for a few weeks now, my one is another, and that's Ivan Toney. I think he can fill Kane's, well, not fill Kane's boot, but if we're looking at like for like, he's young. If he wants to go to that next level, I think we'd be. I don't want to class Spurs as a stepping stone, but his next step in his career would be a Spurs, and I don't think he'd come in and not get any minutes. With us qualifying for Champions League next season and the cup games, I think he'll get plenty of minutes. And Kane obviously needs.
How much would it take to get?
They wanted 50 million last
season. Yeah, well, we're looking at about 40 plus.
That's too much for him. He's not worth it.
I think there's something there. I think there's something there.
11 goals this season in 26 matches in the 12 goals. Sorry, 11 in the Premier League and 1 in the league.
You got to remember though. You got to remember, Ivan Toney's not going to come to Tottenham to sit on the bench. When you have a player like him who's not playing games, he needs. We need to get away
regularly. Yeah, well, we need to get away from that narrative, Danny. Yeah, we can't say 70 million for Martinez, knowing full well he's going to sit on the bench, and not a 40 million for a Toney.
You're talking about Martinez, who's a Champions League goal scorer, and you're talking about Ivan Toney, who's never proven it. Hasn't proven it consistently over a number of years.
Martinez will have to sit on the bench.
Yeah, but Ivan Toney, right? He's a different kind of player, right? For me, I believe someone like a Martinez, even though I don't want Martinez, I think he'll do a better job than him because of his abilities. He's a better player than Ivan Toney is, right?
Oh yeah, he is.
Yeah, Martinez is a better player, and Martinez can handle coming in and out and also Martinez, not just that, he likes to play with. Martinez is the type of player who, for me, like what I'm saying is like if you put Ivan Toney on the bench and he's not going to get as many games, I think Martinez, if he's going to be in the same situation, Martinez is going to make a bigger difference for us and a bigger impact than say Ivan Toney was in the same situation. That's what I'm saying. So why would you spend 45 million pound on a player who is not going to give you as much as say someone like Martinez would give you, even though Martinez is going to cost you more? You still want better output, and for 45 million is a lot of money to waste on someone who's not going to give you everything because he's not going to be playing week in, week out. And someone like Ivan Toney, he for me, what I've seen of him this season in the Premier League, right, he's good, but he's a confidence player. He needs to play week in, week out to feel the confidence. And if he's going to come to Tottenham and sit on the bench under Harry Kane, he for me, what I've seen in him, I don't think that he's going to do very well sitting on the bench, right, and coming in every now and again. I think he'll lose all confidence. He'll lose his self-belief. I don't think he's the right player. I think Martinez has got a different mentality.
I'm surprised none of you are mentioning like Memphis Depay in his time at Lyon and well, mainly Lyon, but and obviously Barcelona. Overall, his entire career. Sorry, Barry.
I know. When you finished, I was going to come for another suggestion for someone.
Oh, okay. I'll get my Depay thing out and then take it away. Depay scored a goal every other game, and he's got an assist every 3 games over his entire career. The guy is like he's got sun level stats, and he's 40 million. I don't know why no one's talking about
it. In a weaker league, though. In a weaker league,
he's done it in the Champions League though as well.
Sean, I'll tell you one thing.
that's
I'll
back
tell
up
you
in the
one
league,
thing.
the
If I
Champions
was
League,
going to
yeah.
go for anyone who's gonna cost the least amount, because he's not going to cost a 40 million. He's not, right? They want him. They want
yeah,
him.
maybe
They
30
don't
million,
want
yeah.
him. Even less, right? I reckon Depay would be the one. Him, or if I was going to spend money on a striker, Jonathan David.
Yeah, I know you like
Jonathan
him,
David.
David. Jonathan David's good.
He
Yeah.
is fucking class, man. He's good on both feet. He's rapid. He's big. He's got everything. He's such a good player, and he's young as well, man. He's the player you want to bring into Team Tottenham, who I think can do a job not just as a striker, but all across that front three. He's a very versatile player, and yeah, I think he'll get more game time than you'd think. That's my opinion, anyway. But
yeah, no, I appreciate it. It's good,
I think Depay is the best out of the three you mentioned.
Yeah, like I say, take it away. Anyone else?
If we're going to go for a Depay player, we need to go for Anthony then, because Anthony for me is a better player than Depay will be.
Right.
Oh
Can
yeah,
I put
Anthony.
can I put an end to
Phenomenal.
this discussion? I mean, I know you've got to take when you get knowledge, like information from inside, like in the know. As far as I know, we're not even getting another striker in the summer. Apparently, they're going to trust Kulu to cover Kane if he's out. We are not getting another striker.
And Troy Parrott, yeah.
Back, but we will not be getting another striker in.
Thing is, if they do that, Alan, I'll be honest. I think Conte walks. I'm being serious. I think they.
Yeah, if Conte wants a striker and we don't get one in,
I think he walks. I think he walks, mate. Honestly,
apparently, this is only what I've heard so far. Dan, he wants 4 players. Yeah, he wants 4 players. He wants a goalkeeper, a left centre back, a right wing back, and a central attacking midfielder. That's what he's after. And he reckons that Kulu can cover Kane if he's out injured. That is only what I've been told.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, put him through the middle, and we can have front three. Our front three and our back three are imperative. Right now, to the end of the season, our back three needs to stay fit. Our front three need to stay fit, and they need to play consistently, because the damage they're doing up front and the solidity that they're showing at the back is paramount in the running. So yeah, why not? That's the whole Son narrative. I don't worry if Kane gets injured. We've got Sonny who can play through the middle. Yeah, and weaken our left-hand side. Nah, man, we need a bigger squad. We need a bigger squad.
I totally agree with you, Bob. I'm just passing on. Passing on the information that I've been given. Yeah, I mean, we all know you've got to take it with a pinch of salt.
Of course, Of
course. Something could
Barry,
happen
you want it
in the summer, and it'll change.
Yes, sorry, Alan. Sorry, I thought you finished your point. But Barry, if you have Alan, Barry, you wanted to come in with a option F.
Oh, sorry, quickly, Sean. I've got to nip off, mate. I'm going to get the kids to bed because they just won't. They'll stay up all night if I let them.
Love you, man. Thanks so much, Kuba.
Get the radio out.
Cheers, big fun. Cheers, lads.
Mate. See you later, buddy.
Heads coming on, man. Love Kuba.
See you later.
And then there were 7.
Maybe a bit kind of right wing, and not maybe in the same sort of brackets as the players that Ben's been talking about. But
Real Madrid have scored, I think.
They have 3-1.
Yeah, 3-1. Yeah,
excellent.
If I keep getting interrupted, I'm going to lose my shit.
Sorry.
Now, people leaving, Real Madrid scoring.
Let Barry speak.
I love you, Barry.
Is that me?
Right, moving on to the next topic. Sorry, Barry.
Benzema hat trick.
Fucking again.
Am I not going to the party in the park now? Am I not invited now?
Move on, Sean. It's not going to happen.
Let Barry talk.
Hashtag let Barry talk.
I want to hear.
Free Barry.
Just quickly before anything else happens in the next 2 seconds.
I just want to say, I'm joking.
Boys, we got to wrap it up.
I'm joking. Sorry, Ranjit.
25 million, Yuri Tielemans
from Leicester.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
How old is he now?
27, is it? 26, 27.
No, he's 22 or 23.
Yuri Tielemans is 24. Split the difference.
24. Okay.
There's rumours that he wants to leave, isn't it?
Yeah, it will go.
No, he's
25
not signing
million.
a new contract. He's not signing a new contract.
He'll only go to a Champions League team as well. Yeah, I'll be up for that. He's got a shot on him.
Yeah.
Scored 6 goals this season in 23 Premier League matches. Has he been injured a little bit? He's only played 23, or has he been?
Yeah,
dropped?
I think.
Yeah. Nothing.
Well, we need.
I just think the reason being is that we talk about when we're talking about spending money, we need to spend it wisely, and we also need to talk about players that are going to improve our squad. So for me, Tielemans improves our squad, and he's got Premier League experience, and he's not a massive amount of money. If we look at what happened with Digne when he left Everton for 25 million, that would have potentially, for me, I liked him as well. 25 million for a player like that, with proven experience, is not, we don't need to go out and spend, like we were talking earlier and talking about free transfers. They're not free and there's a signing on fee and everything else. But, we don't want to go and spend the 50, 60, 70 million on the likes like we have with Lo Celso and Ndombele and waste money. We could get 3 decent proven players that could have a real impact on the team. And like Danny was saying about the amount of subs, we're going to need a decent squad, and we're not going to go and spend 300 million in the summer, are we? Let's be honest. So
and Conte doesn't, does he, Barry?
No.
Not only that, but I think we do need to move, because I hear a lot of people saying, "Oh, we don't need a number 8, we don't need a number 10 because they're not going to fit into our system." No, we need a number 8 because we don't have a number 8.
Yeah.
We do need to change it up. Just because we don't play it doesn't mean we need 2 holding midfielders or central midfielders on the pitch, and then 2 holding midfielders on the bench. We need to adapt. And there will be many.
100%.
Yeah, exactly. There will be many games where we're going to need a number 8 or an attacking midfielder to either start or come off the bench. And I'd like to think Conte's clever enough to know when and where to play Tielemans if he comes in. So yeah, because I do hear that. I know if we get Dybala, where would he fit in? If we get Tielemans, where would he fit in? Fuck that. We need. But one thing that Conte has done, and I said this on Saturday, what he's done by making Eric Dyer a better player, a Bergwijn obviously bringing a bit of confidence. I said that to you, didn't I, Barry? By bringing Davis on another level, he's already made our squad bigger.
Yeah.
A Dyer out of the number 11 out of our first team right now, a Davis out of the would make our team weaker. So next season, now do we need to improve on those next season? Of course we do. We need a De Vrij. We need another. We need a few fullbacks. But what it's done is by having an option of a Dyer on the bench if he doesn't start, or even a Davis on the bench next season, he's already made our squad bigger for next season by bringing on these players. But of course we need to invest. Of course we need to bring better players. But already, like I say, by improving the average players and taking them to the next level, he's already made our squad bigger. We just need to improve on that next season.
So I'm going to take this chance rather than spinning the wheel, because I don't know if it will come up. But
I've got option number 3, by the way, before we end this. Why don't we spend 50 million on a Spinazzola? Get him.
I love him, man.
I'd love him. Yeah.
And there's a few other options being shouted about. Matt C saying get about Schick, and someone else.
We're going for players like that. Go for someone like Manor Solomon.
Andre Silva.
Manor Solomon.
Botman's still out there.
Yeah, Botman.
Wait, Botman's a striker, is he?
No,
defender.
Oh, I was going to say, yeah, sorry, yeah, I thought, sorry, we got off the striker topic, but Schick's obviously an option from a striker, and so Andre Silva at Leipzig, really good player. I like Andre Silva as well. He's played 28 games in the Bundesliga, scored 10 goals. He's 26 years old. He's got 5 goals in the 3 goals in the Champions League, 1 goal in Europa League in 3 games. He's got a couple of goals in their cup tournament as well. And have you guys got any thoughts on Andre Silva, Portuguese player?
He's just signed, hasn't he?
So
he's had a year there. He's had a year there. I think he'll probably just need another year. I don't think he'll leave in the summer.
Move on to.
It looks pretty settled, doesn't he? Are we looking at Everton players if they go down?
Damari Gray, the greatest fucking value for money signing.
1.5 million, yeah.
1.5 million, and they get a player like him. I don't know where they found that fella, but like,
especially when we were getting talked about.
Clearly can't be that good though, because they're going down.
He's been injured a little bit this season as well. I think,
and what are the chances of a Bellingham, do you reckon?
Jude Bellingham.
Oh.
I'd take
Wow.
Trent.
I mean, he would be just.
No.
He would be just. If we signed him,
And
it would just change.
Do you know what the
everything about
most annoying thing about that? So many people would go on about Sancho, and I didn't think Sancho would do that much when he come back to Man United. And
I think he's overrated.
Yeah, overrated. Because when you see him play for England, he seems to do better when he's given the room to attack. I find he's just a younger Zaha. When he's got space to attack, he's a good player. But the minute he gets overcrowded, he don't know what he's doing. You know what I mean? That's from my
Zaha
view.
would be a good shower.
I don't like Zaha. I don't like Zaha.
No, his best days are behind him.
I think, to be honest with you, Ben, I think with Zaha, I think
Skeletor.
Yeah, I think what you find is the minute you get to a crowded area, which are teams we struggle against anyway, Zaha just doesn't do the job.
There's a few other Palace players that I'd go for instead of him.
Right back.
Yeah.
That
Tyrone Mitchell, I think it is right.
Oh, Mitchell. Yeah.
Mitchell.
Is he left back? Left back, isn't he?
Left back.
Anderson,
If we're looking at Robinson at Fulham, I'd still look at him as well.
Hang on, who's the right back for
Palace? Is Tyrone Mitchell, isn't it?
Klein, no, he's left back. Klein is
Klein is
right
back.
Klein,
Klein's right back for Palace.
Yeah. Palace are a good team, but
they are.
Obviously, Conor Gallagher would be Dreamwell, but never going to get.
Hey, that's never happening.
Yeah,
that's via Chelsea, isn't it? So no chance.
All right. So what I wanted to do was to spin the wheel again, but I feel like because we've been talking about strikers, we'll just keep it on theme, right? So there's this option here. This is, I guess, maybe to Alan's point about Tottenham maybe not signing a striker. What do we do with Steven Bergwijn? And also there's a second question in there as well: is who is the first choice replacement for an injured forward at Tottenham? Is it Steven Bergwijn or Lucas Moura? There's sort of two questions in one there. Steven Bergwijn, he's confident, all confidence is up.
Yeah.
He's obviously, he comes on for 5 minutes. He scores against Leicester. He scores 2 goals against Leicester in 5 minutes. He scores the other day. He did it for Holland twice in the week or last week. Do we have a player there that we're not utilising? He's a young superstar, isn't he? Yeah, go on.
The thing with Bergwijn, as I say, he's proven it when he comes off the bench. But I don't think he's happy being on the bench.
No.
And he doesn't seem to be able to do enough to shift Son or Kulu out the team.
Yeah.
And what will end up happening eventually is you'll end up getting someone that's going to be very disgruntled because he wants to be playing. Because he wants to make sure he's playing against whoever in the World Cup. He wants to be playing in the World Cup. He will want minutes. And I won't be shocked if he actually puts a
transfer request in.
Request.
Yeah.
If he can't guarantee a few more minutes. That's only my own view.
No, I completely agree with you. Go
on. Danny knows what I think of Bergwijn. I think he's absolutely brilliant. I think there's so much potential there. I think Conte actually sees him through the middle. It was great. I don't know if you saw the Conte cam, but when Bergwijn went straight through, you got Conte smiling at the bench saying, "Watch this, watch this." He knew he was going to score. Sonny as well, and I think the Spurs squad needs a confident Bergwijn. There's no way Bergwijn takes that second shot on that volley shot against Newcastle if Conte in the previous press conference hadn't said, Bergwijn needs to believe in himself a bit more.
That nearly
and
went
I think
in
you saw that. Yeah. But I agree with Al. He's got to want minutes. It's World Cup, So I think there's going to be a very, very interesting, close-knit conversation with Conte in the summer just to find out if we qualify for the Champions League. And Conte's right. What Bergwijn brings to the table, or confident Bergwijn brings to the pitch, there isn't anyone else in the squad who does that. I mean, Bergwijn wouldn't give you what a Decky would out wide, certainly on the left. I mean, put it this way: there's no way a Bergwijn puts a ball in like Decky does with his right foot to Sonny against Newcastle. Having said that, I don't think Decky's got that drive that Bergwijn can give you through the middle. And possibly a confident Bergwijn is maybe a better finisher as well. So I think Conte's right. I think Bergwijn does give us something different. And I think a confident Bergwijn makes our squad stronger. But I agree with Al. It's going to be an important, very, very serious and a personal conversation he'll have to have with Conte in the summer, because I don't think Conte wants him to leave.
It depends, I think.
How does? Oh, sorry, Mark. Go on, mate. Yeah,
No, it depends. I think if he's happy.
You're on mute, Al.
Oh, Mark, go first, and then Alan,
Yeah,
and then Alan come in afterwards. Go on, Mark.
I honestly think it depends whether he's happy. He's not going to be happy just playing 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there, is he? Not with the World Cup coming up.
Isn't that the dilemma that all strikers that would come to Tottenham have to face when they look at the front line and they see Harry Kane and Sonny? I remember when Sonny got injured in the Amazon documentary, and Sonny was like, "Oh, he was devastated when the medical team said, "Oh, you got to take a couple of weeks out." He wants to play every fucking minute. Obviously, Harry Kane does as well.
Yeah.
And then so you have this option. You have this forever dilemma of are these people droppable? Not droppable on form, but restable. Are they restable? Like, is Harry Kane going to be okay not playing in Carabao Cup games? And if it's not Bergwijn who comes in, if Bergwijn leaves because he wants more time, and then we get a Dybala in, or do we get the Depay in, or do we get any of the other names that were mentioned? Those names are going to have more demands for time than a Bergwijn will. Yeah. So how do you juggle it? Sorry, Alan, I know you wanted to speak as well. Sorry, mate.
Bob, I don't know whether you would do it. I don't know how you would do it, but do you reckon Conte would consider using Bergwijn as a right back, like right wing back?
No. Not now. I don't. Yeah. I mean, I was all for that, and Danny knows when Nuno came in, we all thought Bergwijn might have a go down the right, and then Conte. But I think we're beyond trying to shoehorn a player into a position where that's why I'm so anti-Traore. I'll bring him in, play him at right wing back. I thought that was a load of bollocks. I do think Conte sees him as a striker. Now, with regards to if he'll start, sorry, I saw that. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Henry's in behind him.
Yeah.
That super agent. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Vinny Sahawi or something, is it?
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But I think we just need to trust Conte. If Conte had that conversation with Bergwijn and said, right, I'm going to play you as a striker, if he can make, with all due respect, if he can make Dyer a better player, if he can make Davis a better player, if he can bring out world-classness in a Matt Doherty, I'll tell you what, he can make Bergwijn into a class striker. And he'll have all pre-season. There's no World Cup shit going on. He'll have all pre-season to work on Bergwijn. And we've seen kind of what he's done to him. The only reason I'd go anti-Depay, because I do see a lot of similarities between Depay and a Bergwijn. And even the Dutch manager said, Depay and Bergwijn are very similar players. That's why it's great to have them playing in the same team.
Just to add to that, right? I think if we get top 4 this season, I think Conte is going to do everything he can to persuade Steven Bergwijn to stay. Yeah. Because I honestly believe, given Bergwijn a pre-season with Conte, I think he's going to be a very, very important squad player for us next season.
Yeah,
and I actually
100%.
think he'll be the most important squad player for us next season. And I think that he won't play every game. He will get games, but I think you're going to see him play in that right wing back position if have to. And I think that they're going to work on that in pre-season as a precaution, like in case if we can't get a wing back in or the plan B, or if we get injuries, then he'll be able to use him. Because I actually think if you look at the way Conte's system is right now and how both wing backs are getting into the boxes, that's exactly where Bergwijn wants to be. He's a brilliant box finisher. He's really good in and around that box, right? And I think you have someone like Bergwijn in there. Oh, I think he'd be a brilliant wing back, if I'm honest, in a Conte system, in the way he plays. And I think, like Bobby said, the only other position I think he's really good at is I think he's good as a striker. I think he is, because he runs in behind. He's like a Son kind of mold in terms of where he runs in behind. He's stronger than Son, and he can actually hold the ball up, right? And he's actually quite a deadly finisher. When he believes, like Conte said, if he believes in himself, there is a fucking player in Steven Bergwijn. And
he reminds me of a faster Jermaine Defoe. He's got more
space
than
Jermaine Defoe. The way he hits the ball,
sort of
stockiness.
Yeah,
he's got the stockiness. Even the way he might not be as clinical as Defoe, but I think he's got that. Yeah, explosive. That's the word.
Yeah,
and I think he's got that in him. And I think you give Conte, if Conte can persuade him to stay, right, I think we're going to see an even better Bergwijn next season. I think we're going to see a player who can score 10 goals, who'll have 5, 6, 7 assists, and then everyone will start saying, yeah, Bergwijn's a good player. And I honestly, I think he'd be brilliant for us next
So what does
season.
that mean for Lucas Moura then, boys?
I think he knows. I think
he's gone, mate.
I think his numbers are done. I think if anything, we could use him in a swap deal. There'd be quite a few. There'd be quite a few teams out there who wouldn't mind Lucas.
Get Rafinha in.
Yeah, and his lead. Just final one on Bergwijn. The way the Conte ball is, we're keeping a lot more possession now. You know, the amount of times we've seen 20 minutes, 30 minutes, or whatever, 80% possession, and we do. And if you know, we do see the other teams tiring because they're always having to chase the ball. Now with 20 minutes to go, if it's 1-1 or we're losing 1-0 and we are playing our game and the defence are tiring, who better to bring on but a Bergwijn, explosive Bergwijn, to give that option up front. So like Danny says, Danny knows I've been a Bergwijn fan since day one. Yeah, we both have. And I just think I think the biggest worry is, and we all know it's going to happen, if we sell him and where he goes, he's going to fucking smash it out of the park wherever he goes.
I don't want him to go. I don't want him to go. I also don't want Lucas Moura to go because I think Lucas Moura does a job and I think he's a fucking team player. He's happy to sit on the bench. He's not going to cause any trouble. Like I almost feel like we've got 5 quality options across the top, and I wouldn't be that like. I don't know. I feel like we're good at the top. I feel there's so many more positions that we've got more pressing matters to fill.
I'll be honest with you, Sean, right? I think they want to keep Bergwijn more than they want to keep Moura, but it all depends on who the offer comes in from. Because at the end of the day, the way they do their transfer business is they're going to have to sell players to also buy players. And the thing is, it's whether or not the offer comes in for them. If the offer comes in for what they want for Bergwijn, whether or not they value him higher now because of what he's done in the last kind of couple of months, that's another story. And if he keeps scoring goals until the end of the season, right? If he scores another 4 goals or so, right, his value will go up, and then Ajax won't be able to afford him. So that you look at that, and then if someone else wants him, then obviously they're going to pay more money for him. And if say 30-odd million, 35 million, just say for example, comes in for an offer for him, and they can go and get a player they really want with that money, then I reckon they do it. But then they have to look at replacing Bergwijn, and then they have to look at who's more effective at the moment, Bergwijn and Moura. Moura was one of our best players at the beginning of the season, but since Kulu's come in, is there a need for him anymore? Bergwijn's been more influential the second half of the season. So
there's always a need because everyone gets injured. There's always a need.
Yeah,
when you're playing in 4 competitions, you hope that there's also space for Lucas and that. I
agree. But right now in the Conte system, I don't know. I think if anyone's going to leave, who can, and there has been talk about. There are a lot of clubs still who want Moura, and with his age and the value that we can still demand from him. Huh?
It's 30 now. 30, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So 30, you can still get 20 to 25 million pounds for Moura, and that's quite a lot of money to use to go and get a position you really need. If we've got Kulu and Bergwijn, so I think there might be more emphasis on Bergwijn having a more important role next season if he stays. And I really hope
Everton were 2-1 up at half time. They've lost 3-2.
Yeah. Oh my God.
They are going down. They are going down, aren't they? Against
Burnley. He's going down.
Burnley league problem now, haven't they?
No. Burnley are 1 point behind them, but Everton's next 4 games are Man U at home, Leicester at home, Liverpool away, Chelsea at home.
Oh my God,
Barry! For a second there, I thought your eyes were closed and you were sleeping on the job, but actually, you must have just had your eyes down, looking at the fixture list.
I had my eyes down. I don't fall asleep on streams until it goes past midnight. Thank you. I'll have you.
What win? By the way, what a win for Burnley! What a win for Burnley, though!
Yeah.
What a massive win! Dyche doing his Dyche again.
Yeah, he's doing a Dyche.
There to Dyche.
Also, when you look at it, Everton have the hardest running as well.
They do,
those 4 games after that, they've got to play Leicester again, Watford, Brentford, Palace, and then Arsenal away last game of the season.
The next home games are so important, but they're hard home games, man.
We've still got to play Burnley, haven't we? And we've still got to play. We're done with Everton. We've got to play. We've got Burnley and Norwich, haven't we? That's it. Yeah.
Chelsea conceding 7 goals at home in 2 games. That's got to be a story as well.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Good times.
A good
times
story.
to be
A good
times
story.
to be a supporter of a team in the ascendancy when everybody else is falling apart around us. It's superb.
Do you think? Do you guys think it is the beginning of a crumble for Chelsea? I said on Saturday on my show, it's got to affect the players. It has to.
Yeah.
It has to affect the
They
players.
need a whole new defence. Rudiger, Christensen, and Azpilicueta have all said they want out at the end of the season.
Lukaku's just missed a sitter. Lukaku has missed a fucking sitter.
Lukaku.
I think Ian said on Spurs Eurasian, didn't he say that Abramovich had to go and try and borrow £1 million off someone to pay some wages or something?
Well, he wouldn't be allowed to put in any money.
No,
he wouldn't be allowed to.
can't.
So it'd probably have to come in via a third party. But Abramovich wouldn't be able to.
Someone's got to be putting
the
money
longer
to
it
pay their
drags
wages
on,
at the moment.
from a financial perspective,
No.
I think they've got the trust can pay the salaries, right? There's legacy money in the accounts that hasn't been frozen, so I think they're okay as a running entity. The longer that the debacle around who buys them out goes on, the more in a predicament they are. But if they can find a buyer soon, and the chances are that Chelsea will probably, whoever buys the club will probably pay 50 or 55 pence in the pound for the club. So that money that then, if the club's worth 3 billion, they'll probably do a deal for 1.5 or 2 billion.
Yeah.
That additional money that club, that purchaser then doesn't have to spend could arguably be put into the club via infrastructure or via other ways. And so I feel like if Chelsea can survive the next year and also finish in the Champions League, I think they'll be stronger in 2 years' time because they'll have more money to spend.
To be honest with you, Sean, you say that, but I don't know whether any of the owners that are going in for him at the moment would ever go to the extremes that Abramovich has.
True. They completely rely, without his money, they completely rely on Champions League because their stadium only brings in 1.2 million a game, whereas Tottenham's bringing 2.2 million a game.
2.2, yeah.
Yeah, so like without the TV money, without the Champions League, and it's not only qualifying, they need to go deep to meet their numbers because their wage bill is like 75.
And that's going to be the sticking point, I reckon, Sean. I do believe that the players who I don't think they'll be in a position where they'll be able to give new contracts. Well, they can't legally at the moment, but I don't think they'll be able to be in a position financially to offer big contracts to the players who are out of contract. And I'm sure there'll be many players who will be looking over their shoulders. And I think that's the reason why I do believe there's going to be is a bit of a mini crisis.
It is definitely a crisis.
They're human in the day, aren't they? They're human. Yeah. It's going to affect them immensely.
You wouldn't want to be a club, especially if they slip out. I know they're 7 points ahead of us and they've got a game in hand, so we're running out of time. But if they do fall apart, if they do crash out of the Champions League, if they do go on a real negative spiral, and if by hook or by crook, if they don't finish in the top four, and they haven't got their new ownership model sorted out before the end of the season, then Chelsea, as we know it, they could easily just like completely crumble because they do entirely rely out on either Abramovich supporting them with his loans that aren't paid back or via Champions League money. If one or both of those things finish, why would any top player want to stay on the Titanic when they can jump on the lifeboat and go somewhere else?
Yes, Celine Dion out. Chelsea, the Titanic. Sean, you can do Celine Dion. I heard your pipes today. You got to sing the Titanic song.
We all heard your pipes today, Shawnee boy.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Okay.
You got to sing the song. Chelsea are splitting apart. They're all going to go down.
I'll do the Dingling remix. Yeah. Danny loves the Dingling mix. Ding-a-ding-a-ding.
I still can't spell the same bit of words.
Right, boys.
Going down.
Boys, we're fast approaching the 3 hour mark. I said I was going to finish up for 3 hours because I know there's a couple other channels that are starting at 10 o'clock. I want to be respectful to them. But I do have one last question, and then there's probably 8 more questions. But whatever, it is what it is. I'll pick one. I'll pick one for us, and I'll start with what should we go for? Let's go for the left back reliability. Oh, there's 2 questions, right? And they kind of come under the same banner. One of them is, do we need more scrutiny on our medical team? And the other question is, specifically because of the medical issues, left back reliability issues. Right, we spoke a lot about our right back today, our right back positions, whether we release Emerson, stick with Doherty. But with the left back, we got Sessegnon, who's a great talent, but he's got even though it's not the same injury, because apparently listening to the medical team, there's three muscles within the hamstring on his left leg, and he usually gets injured on the right of the three muscles in the hamstring, but this most recent one is the left. Whatever, I'm not a doctor, I'm not going to expand on that, but is Sessegnon too injury prone to be reliable enough to have him as a constant backup or a first team regular? And Reguilon has also had like 3 or 4 periods out this season with injuries. We spoke about the right back. What do we do with our left backs? Do we buy 2 new left backs this summer? Do we buy 1? Do we
2.
Keep both and buy another one and have 3 left backs because we know that one of them's always injured? What do we do? Start with you, Bob, and then go around the houses from there. Anyone take it as you want.
As good a player as Sessegnon is young, English, homegrown, and he's going to get on to. We need someone who's a bit more reliable. I know Conte likes him. I'd love to keep him, but I wouldn't want to be reliant on him. Reguilon, I think he will leave. I really do. His girlfriend and family are still in Spain. There's talk of Barcelona, and I think deep down he knows that if Sessegnon's fit, then Sessegnon's going to start ahead of him. So I do think Reguilon. So one way or another, we need another a left wing back. Who that left wing back is, I couldn't tell you, man. I couldn't tell you. Spence.
Well, Spence is right.
He's more a right back. So.
What about Cucurella from Brighton?
Yeah, Cucurella. I know Hakimi's played down the left as well, and he's unhappy, but he's right-footed. He's normally so. We do need strengthening in that left wing back position because I do believe Reguilon will go. Sessegnon, as good a player as he is, you talk about reliability. I think maybe he's a tad of a liability with his injury concerns.
All right, before we go to the rest of you guys, I just want to quickly jump in. Americanka, my favourite female. Not favourite because I know that Ellie's also in the chat. You're one of my favourites of the female.
Saved yourself there. By the way, Kim's watching as well.
Kim's watching as well. I love all of them. I love everyone. Americanka, just to let you know, I'm sorry.
You bastard.
We were going to do the Villa preview as well. And the original fucking thumbnail, it's supposed to say Bryson, but we've run out of time. So what I'm going to do is I will do another show this week, probably at the same time on a 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock thing for an hour or two to talk about Villa. So I do apologise if you've been hanging on for that because we just run out of time. I spent far too fucking long doing the player ratings on the Newcastle game. Sorry, Americanka, I love you. I love you as well, Ellie, and I love you, Kim, and everybody else. Anyway,
every other left female that's watching.
Cursed.
Zoe, everybody. Right, Barry, before you fall asleep at the desk, what are your suggestions on the left wing back spot?
Falling asleep. What are you talking about?
You are falling asleep, bro.
If I'm honest, I nearly fell asleep about 8 times driving back from Manchester last night.
Don't say that.
You drove.
Don't say that, man. Don't say that. You can. There's a reason why. There's a reason why there's service stations out there. One thing you never do, mate. If you're sleepy, don't fucking risk it. Don't risk it. I'm telling you off now. Telling you off.
Yeah,
Stop, Bobby.
While we're at it. Piss off, Barry.
Yeah, Barry, piss off, Barry. What are you doing?
Come back, Barry. Come back. You're okay. Right, Barry, go left wing back spot. What do we do? What do we do with these injury-prone klutzes that can't stay fit for more than 5 minutes? 2 good players.
I think Bobby's right. I think Reggie goes because he realises that the moment Sess is fit, that he's not getting in the team. We need to sign someone. We were talking about this the other day and kind of going through who is a left back that that you'd want, and there isn't really a massive amount out there, right? Because you immediately go to who's playing left back at United, then Arsenal, then you've got Tierney, you've got Shaw, you've got
Andrew Robertson,
you've got Chilwell. I mean, Chilwell potentially, I don't know, but you don't know what's happening with
Chilwell.
Guerrero
from Borussia Dortmund.
Yeah,
Spina
no one. It's tough. So I mean, I think I don't know. I like Cucurella. I think he was. I think he's. I mean, I'm not too keen on his hairdo, but it eats their own. Yeah.
He might cut it up into a bun for you.
Oh, no. There's only one bun in my life. So yeah,
Nice.
so it's a difficult one, but the medical team, I don't know what's happened because whether they've changed or something's gone on, because it seemed like obviously at the start from the Amazon documentary they're all very on top of things, they're all having the conversations, and then now all of a sudden people are, their injuries are lasting longer.
Just going to say him.
Things are happening, and yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. So we'll just have to wait and see. But yeah, we need one. I don't think we're going to replace both. But you never know. You never know if what could happen over the summer with, obviously we were talking about Everton and everything else, and obviously Dinya's gone from Villa to Everton, so maybe that I might get my wish with that one. So who knows?
Do we not think that
Villa, didn't he? So
do we not think the whole medical team narrative is a bit of a myth? Because the only long-term injury we've had is Tanganga, really. Skip was available. Session's been available whenever he's fit. Session, I just believe it's more of a physical, more of a physical thing, that he probably is one of those players who will never get fit.
The Skippy injury is the one that's probably the reason why I asked the question, because it's like that they can't even figure out what's wrong with him. But they can't even identify why he keeps plugging. Like, if you're a doctor, figure it out, bro. We've all got jobs. You're supposed to diagnose problems. Fixing it might not be as easy.
Figure it out.
Young muscles.
With Skip, the only thing I can think I'm worried about with Skip is they said it was an infection on his injury.
Oh, that's right.
The only thing I can
chlamydia in the groin. Yeah,
the only thing I can think that cause that an infection would be that when they give him an injection,
they didn't take right.
They didn't do it right or whatever. Or the needle, but it don't sound right, does it?
I just feel
send
like
him to the NHS, they'll sort that.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're the very best in the doctors that we have, surely we have the very best in physical therapists and doctors and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's one thing to fix a problem, but it's another thing to not be able to diagnose it. And if they can't figure out what the fuck's wrong with his groin, he's been training all week and suddenly he feels the same pain again. It's like they've been, I don't know. Like I say, I'm not a doctor. I'm just putting it out there because Conte moaned and said, "Oh, you should be asking these guys. You should be asking the medical team that." And I think the reason why he said it, Iggy explained it to me, that the medical in Italy, the medical team doctors come out and do press conferences about injuries rather than asking the manager. They ask the actual experts, and they don't have that in the UK. And I don't know. I just feel like, I don't know. Whatever.
They looked after me for 7 hours, Bob, on Monday.
Send them to Adam Brooks.
Yeah,
100%. About 5 minutes.
Yeah. Send him to Harlow.
Ben, it took me 7 hours in Adam Brooks the other day, so that was a bit of a
Adam Brooks is fantastic. I spent some time there the other month.
But I spent 7 hours in there on Monday. Adam Brooks.
If Princess Alexandra can bring me back from the death twice, they can sort out Skippy. Trust me.
All right, guys, listen. We've been going for 3 hours. I did say I'd start. We could be going for another hour and a half just to talk about the last things on the thing, but we're going to wrap it up now and give everybody the other channels their chance. I'm going to plug everyone's channels on the thing, on the comments, and I will come back and do a show this week, guys, about the Villa preview. I hope any of you and all of you can come back and join us then. Bob Spur, you're the name's first up on the list, buddy. Would you like to plug your channel and tell everyone what's the crack on it?
Yeah, so in the Wall on Saturday night, finally have a Spurs game to talk about on a Saturday night, which hasn't happened so far. It's always played on Sunday, or it's been international weekend. We'll obviously talk about the whole Premier League as well. We'll be touching on the media effect. That's all the media narrative at the moment on Spurs and everyone else. We'll talk about conspiracy theories, part 2. And then obviously we'll be looking forward to the Man City Liverpool game as well. So the usual Saturday night in the Wall, 10:30 on Bob's for the TV. But this is the channel that everyone really needs to sub, comment, like, share, whatever, the dinglings. Whatever you need to do.
No, thank you, mate. You've been a wonderful wonderful debutant on the channel, mate, and many more to come in the future. I really appreciate you stopping by. Next up, I'll put Iggy's channel in there. because I know he's not. He's gone. I don't think I'm not sure he got a chance. Bun, Tottenham on tour. Talk about it.
Tottenham on tour, mate. That's it. That's what I need to say. No, I'm joking.
That's it, man.
No, yeah, we've got lots of stuff planned. Obviously, everyone knows who the channel's on, who are with me on the channel. We've actually got a stream in 20 minutes time, which I probably will be late to as usual because I've realized I actually have to sort some shit out before tomorrow work. So I'm actually they're gonna hate me because they're gonna say that you'll be on fucking Sean stream all day, this shit. But yeah, unfortunately that's just life sometimes. But yeah,
that's Greek time, though,
yeah, if you want to go over to our channel at 10, we'll have a stream on tonight, and yeah, just come over and watch some more deluded idiots.
Amazing.
Oh, and just want to say, the Ben Coffin will be making his debut on In the Wall this Saturday as well.
Yes, Ben.
Go on, Ben. I'll be joining as well, Bob.
Perfect segue to the coffee company. Ben's channel's in the link, guys. Ben, go for it, bro.
What a show! What a show!
I need to do some stuff before.
I'll see you later, man.
Cheers, Bun. Thanks, mate.
Love you all, man.
Love you, man.
Brilliant, Sean. Thank you for.
Loved your show today, Ben. Loved it, mate.
Yeah, if you ever need somewhere to get away from the stress of the world, come to the coffee company where we drink some great coffee. We talk about a load of rubbish usually. Sometimes the customer comes in and talks about nonsense for about 30 minutes. It's all good, but it's mostly just a place you can go to relax from the stress of the world. And it's just a lovely place to be. And now that London Coffee Festival is over, it's the start of my plan to start training for the UK Barista Championships. So follow my journey on there.
Wicked.
See if I can take on this challenge and see if I can batter some people.
Do you know who your competition are? Is there like a barista hierarchy
in the next 2 years? I don't know if there's any new people, but I need to be assembling my team of people to analyze the competition.
Love it, mate. Guys, get
over. I've got the competition entrance here. We've got John Starbucks. We've got Jermaine Costa, and we've got Penelope Petaporta. So it's all good, mate. Good luck. Good luck with that.
Very good, Bob. Very
I'd
good.
go up against one of the best coffee shops not the best, one of the biggest coffee shops in the UK, and I wipe the floor with them on my stand.
Go on, mate.
Nice
Busiest machine at London Coffee Festival.
Yes, mate.
Well done. Just be careful. That I've heard about that Johnny Starbucks. He's a bit of a cunt. Well done, mate. Yeah, everyone get over to the coffee company as well. Hit the link and hit the subscribe button. It doesn't take anything for you guys to do it in the comments, and it means the world to everyone on the channels.
Buddy, I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna take my meds before the lockdown.
Cheers, Bob.
So
thanks, mate. Thanks
cheers,
so much,
guys.
Mate.
Love you all. Big up, Mark. Big up, Ben. Big up, Al. Big up. See you later, Barry. Big one, Sean. Chill out.
Cheers, Bob. All right, guys. Last up is the shelf side Spurs. Mark, I'm not sure. Mark, you haven't got a channel, have you? I haven't got a link for you.
Well, if you include me with
you're Tottenham Tantrum Gold, aren't you now? Yeah, of course.
Well, I don't know. Am I?
Well. Yes, you are.
Don't be so. I don't know the word.
100%. You're co-host.
That's the word, Alan.
Your usual time. Where can you find you, Mark? In the pub.
In the pub.
In the pub.
All right, Mark. I'll go with you first, Mark. So I put the link in for Tottenham Tantrum Gold, of course, for Dermot's channel, but it's also now co-hosted by Mark and I think Bobby K as well, which is the channel's. Excuse me, beer burps. It's growing fantastically. Mark, talk about it, and where else can they find you apart from down the pub in Somerset?
Well, to be honest, I think I've just been roped into it. Well, yeah, Dermot's channel. I don't know nothing about it.
Well, you're a natural, man. You're doing a great job. You're doing a fantastic job.
It's good channel.
No, not
it's
my
all
channel.
right. Yes.
When are you next on? When's your next show?
I think it's tomorrow morning. I think so. Or no, it's about 1 o'clock.
Afternoon, probably.
1 o'clock.
Quarter past one.
Well, guys, as cool as Mark is playing it, I'm sure he'd love everyone to go over there, and I would love everyone to go over there and check out Dermot's Tottenham Tantrum Gold.
No, I honestly don't know. I honestly don't know.
I think it's
I
tomorrow.
don't know. I don't know. He doesn't know.
I think it's Thursday at 1:15. I think I saw on the list earlier. It's Tuesdays
Thursday,
and Thursdays
1
at 1:15. So yeah. Go over to the most laid back plug I've ever seen in my entire life. Big up, Marky. All right, guys, and last but by absolutely no means least, the boys from Shelfside Spurs. The link is in the channel, but I know they're both doing their own particular shows on it. So we'll start with Alan. Talk about Tottenham tea and toast, my friend.
The Tottenham tea and toast. We only started this Monday. That was our debut. We're going to be doing Mondays in future, hopefully talking about the game over the weekend.
Fantastic.
We're not going to be doing guests and everything at the moment. We're going to keep it like it's only an hour long. So,
who's on with you?
How's life?
The boss.
So both of you doing it. Okay.
Elbaz's the boss.
I did watch the first one.
I didn't see. I didn't know about it. I'll definitely check.
Yes.
I like.
That's because you only subscribed this afternoon, Sean. That's why you didn't know anything about the show.
It's not true. It's not true. Absolutely not true. It's outrageous.
You guys say I've got to do Owl's Live. I've got to do it.
Ben.
Best intro in Tottenham beauty.
Go away.
It's just the best intro ever.
Yes.
All right. Well, I'll be making sure that I'm a keen viewer for Monday morning. Guys in the chat, everyone, make sure you get over to Shelfside Spurs to do what I didn't do apparently, which is hit the notification bell for the Monday morning show.
John, come on. We went up by 2 subscribers, and Alan said he was 1, and then all of a sudden we were talking about it and we went up. I'm not going to call bullshit, but that's absolute bullshit that you weren't subscribed.
I swear, you know what, mate? I swear on my life, there's 30 other people in that WhatsApp group that could have pushed that button at any particular point. We were all doing a big love, grow, everyone help each other grow montage. And you think I'm the person who...
I started that, by the way. I'm sorry for starting.
I'm only joking. I'm only joking, Sean. John, you can also find us on a Thursday evening when we're joined by the rest of the crazy gang. We're like Spurs' YouTube crazy gang.
What time on a Thursday?
7 o'clock with Johnny and Rez and Gaza and some of you guys obviously as well. So yeah,
there you go.
Great to have us on, Sean. Great to have you back. He's not left me on red for 3 days, so I'm absolutely.
I'm going to write a song. I'm going to write a song with my guitar called "Left Me on Red." When Barry texts me and I see the message and I forget to text him back, he's like, "Sean, you left me on red. You left me on red." Superb. Right, ladies and gentlemen, we're far past the 3-hour mark. I love you all. Thank you everyone for joining us. Mark, the Coffee Company, Ben, Alan, Barry, Coover, Bob Spur, Dave the Irish Hotspur, Iggy. Who else was there? Who am I forgetting? Who else was early that dropped off?
The bun.
Of course, the bun. And there was somebody else. I'm sure there was 10. I'm sure there was 10 people. Brian Daigle. Daigle, the Canadian bagel. Lovely, guys. Thank you all. This is my first time back on doing this for a couple of weeks. I'm obviously out of touch with it and out of sync because I didn't get control of the timing. I'm sorry. We spent far too much time doing one part of it and not enough time doing the rest.
Sure.
We'll pick it up next time.
Glad you're better, Sean.
Sure. That's because Shelfside took over. Everything runs late.
Get rid of it. There's not going to be a show on Monday. Get rid of him. Fuck off, Alan.
Love you. I think I'm forgetting somebody else who came on, and if I am, I'm super sorry. I'm still not feeling great, guys. I will make up for the Aston Villa preview before the game. I might do it Friday, or I might do it tomorrow in the morning or sometime. Just keep a lookout, hit the notification bell, like, share, and subscribe to all of these channels. And if you haven't already, to mine. Thank you everyone for stopping by. I hope you had an okay time. Like, share, and subscribe. I've already said that. And as always, guys, you
don't say that.
Bye.
Oh.